All right.
All right, looks like we are live and streaming. All right, I hear
Great.
a So you see that on the top left corner, Vijay?
Yeah, I do.
Perfect.
You're
We're
good,
waiting
Javi.
for someone.
Are we waiting for somebody or?
No, we're good to go.
We're good to
I
go.
think we start.
All right. Well, good
But
evening to all the.
Satya is on mute, so I think he said something. I was not sure what he was saying.
We are good to
All
go.
right. Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right. Well, good evening to one and all the viewers that are watching DCL Prime Time. Yet again, we have a bunch of exciting games to discuss, past and future. And as always, we also shine our spotlight on a new team every week. That team for this evening is Team Thunderboltz. And it is our
Hi.
pleasure to have Vinoth Kumar from Team Thunderboltz join us. Good evening, and thank you for joining today, Vinoth.
It's my pleasure. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for having me on the show. Thanks for the invite. I feel very happy and excited to be part of the show. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure and privilege to have you on board, Vinoth. And of course,
Okay.
joining me on the journey today, as always, are my usual accomplices, Parthiv Mehta, Viju Zakaria, and of course, the man who's made it all technically possible, Satya Velayudham. So first up, I suppose we will shine our spotlight on Team Thunderboltz. Vinod, what is your take on the season thus far, and where do you see your team going from here?
It's going good. In one word, I would say it is going as expected to being a team. And, especially the last victory have given us, a lot of confidence. It's a morale booster for my team. So I feel very happy and excited and look forward to playing, a good cricket and look forward to get more wins, as we progress.
Parthiv, I believe you're on mute.
Yes. So Vinoth, I had a question. So
Yep.
you guys are topping the table right now. Four matches, 3 wins.
Because
but it's
what? So Sunday games were, watched out. They were cancelled. So technically, it's the right answer, right? So the reason why we are at the top. Just kidding.
Right. No, my question was more of, I know it's early days in DCL. You played you have played 4 matches. You've won 3. You've lost 1. Where do you see yourself going? What's your aim for this season? Like, is there a place where you be content to be at the end of the season?
Yeah. So the point here is you're here to play, you give our best, so not much focused on, winning or losing, I would see it as the way how we play as a team matters to me. So we are just giving our best, we go with the plan. Then and sometimes you flunk, it will not go by the plan. In that case, you get frustrated. And eventually you have to come back stronger, in the next game. So make sure you not get carried away by the last game results or whatever it be. And you have to motivate the team in a right way that, okay, so do your best and give your best, let's not worry about the results. So that's my focus for the rest of the tournament. And also we would love to, it's a first milestone is to get ourselves qualified for the playoffs. Then we'll go from there. So I hope we are on track, just by looking at the points table and the way we have been progressing, it's pretty promising to me.
Great. Another one I had, if no one else has a question, is can you talk about some of your players? Can you introduce us to who should be watching out for this season? Anybody exciting?
Putting me on spot. So I would say every player is my strength on my team, and I cannot differentiate them. So everyone contributes to the victory, to the team performance in their own way. So if one doesn't perform, the other one will back him, and they should shine, one way or the other. So I see in that perspective, every player is a key. And to mention, we have, senior most folks in my team like Prabhat, Krishnamurti, and Philip. So we are so gifted to have them, a part of our team. So their inputs are adding a lot of positive values, So during the game, before and after the game, so their presence, it's pretty important. And they have been playing the cricket for quite a long time. So,
Right.
so I would say, they are the key to me, and also everybody.
So I guess, Vinoth, after just looking at how you guys have fared, you obviously had a pretty comprehensive win to start off with against Safaris, and then you had another win against UCA, albeit slightly closer. But then you had that major setback against FCC. What did you tell your team after that? You obviously bounced back and
Yeah, of
won.
course. So that's what
So,
I told you, right?
to go from that high to crash so hard, what did it take?
I told you, so not much concerned about, we started our team a few years back. We have seen ups and downs, and we hit a bump at times, and we were at the verge of frustration, when we collapsed with our batting or bowling, either way. So the thing is, so we know, how to come back, from the loss. Or if something happens, okay, this is kind of, the passing cloud.
Right.
So you have to correct your mistakes, and let's not get carried away by that. That's why I always insist in the team a huddle up. Uh, so let's not get carried away by the results. Do your best here, and then you definitely get the results that you are looking for. So that's how we played our game. So the first game we played in our home pitch. It's Ann Arbor, so most of our players are from Ann Arbor.
Okay.
So that's our home pitch, and it was favoring us. It was kind of a bowling wicket, so we were able to get them out in 20-25 runs. He's a good friend of mine, the Safari's captain. So it was a good game. And you say he's my kind of an elder brother, Dinesh to me. So he has a very good squad, and he has been performing well, phenomenally doing, their performance. And we had a good start with the bat, and said we had a sudden jolt in the middle order, but we were able to score like I think 95 runs in the end, and we were able to defend them and win the game in the end. It was a very close game though, and FCC, it was kind of a weird wicket, I would say. First time our boys played in Woodhaven pitch, it was kind of over bouncy. And to say it happens to everybody though, we have never used to such kind of pitching conditions. So I would say that could be one of the reasons for flanking, on that game. So then I take it serious. Okay, boys, it's a kind of temporary setback. Then we wanted to bounce back, and we did eventually.
Nice.
Then it happens to every team, the batting
absolutely.
collapse. Yep. So
Right.
I'm not worried much.
No, yeah, absolutely. No, I just wanted to pick your brain on what it is that was going through the team, what kind of discussions happened. Obviously, like you said, one loss, basically shrug it off.
Correct.
So,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
So,
The way you bounce back matters to me,
Absolutely.
So we did it eventually.
Nice. Good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Care about Deep Bhaskaran, who is leading wicket taker in the whole tournament, and in your team, he's second highest scorer, leading wicket taker, and even in fielding also he's top.
So that says that he is a very good all-rounder. So he's our assert, for my team. So he's a very good all-rounder, and so he's a very hardworking guy, to be honest. And he does a lot of improvisations. He works hard to improve his bowling game by game. He retrospects, the mistakes he did, and he corrects it eventually. And he's very good batsman and good all-rounder. He's a very good fielder too. So it's a complete all-rounder, I would say. and he's a priceless asset of my team.
So,
Right,
yeah, go ahead, Vijay.
Go ahead. That's fine.
No, my question was more around. So I've looked at the scorecard this weekend. It definitely feels like Thunderboltz are more of a bowling side than a batting side. Do you agree with that assessment? Do you think your bowling is probably your
I wouldn't
asset?
completely agree. So the players are, they are capable to, bat and chase any score in a given day. So sometimes you flunk in the batting order. So the sudden collapse. So in few games, we failed to stop the bleeding. And when we had a sudden collapse in the batting order, and of course, overall, we have a good bowling side, and also I would say we have an equal batting side too. So we have been seeing a lot of improvement on our batting. So, and I would say, there are a lot of areas to improve eventually. So as we progress, and we are ready to mature in many things, so we'll definitely address those gaps and then cement them. That's my focus.
Sounds good.
Yep.
So, welcome to the show. I wanted to meet some of the new teams, and right now you guys have played 4 games. You have 3 wins and 1 bad loss. All right, but you're 13 points. You're topping the pool.
Yep.
And the pool A is a pretty good pool, if you ask me. I have a lot of respect for what you have achieved so far.
Thank you so much.
So far we did not know anything about your team, or at least I did not know. So oftentimes we can only say, hey, there's only one Thunder in the league. But clearly, Thunderboltz have proved themselves. And what impressed me even more was that you played some practice games, and I saw that you have even recorded your practice games.
Of course.
And then the uniform snafu happened. And I don't think it was you, but I thought it was a teammate of yours, Devraj or something like that.
Yeah, Dave.
I could be wrong. Yeah, who brought it out. He did a wonderful video.
Correct.
We in fact borrowed that video and then broadcast it because he had done such a phenomenal job with it. When I look at it, you absolutely killed Safaris. I mean, that was something none of us expected. And then, again, it's a new team, so we don't know what to expect. And then you go against UCA, which again surprised me that you beat UCA because UCA had some players from Marcos, which we thought were very good. But you got decimated. Yeah, and then you got decimated by FCC. But then you came back and beat Patriots. Now, in my reckoning, there are very few teams, and this is, I'm giving you free information here. Very few teams who have... right in the very first year, gone on and made the playoffs. Making the playoffs is tough. Very few teams have ever done it, wherein they form a team, come into DCL, and the very first year they go into the playoffs. I can think of a handful, like teams like Legends, teams like Bridges, teams like Glads, Brownstown, and TCA Stallions. But there have been numerous teams which have come in over the years, and none of them ever makes the playoffs. You're on the cusp of making it to the playoffs, provided you've got 3 wins, and out of which, one against Patriots is a really solid win because they are probably going to be competing with you for that playoff spot. And when you win, you go up and you push them 1 spot down, you see. So Correct. This was a very suggesting. But you have to play Thunders, you have to play Raptors, you have to play Troy Hawks, and then SSK and Dynamites, and then Dark Horses. So I'm not in that order, in some sort of order, but those are your 6 remaining games. And out of that, maybe the Dark Horses game is an easy game based on the record so far, unless the Dark Horses improve significantly between now and the time you guys play them. But my reckoning says that you need to win probably 3 out of those 6 games. Two wins probably get you in, but you probably need the help of some bonus points. But then if you get 3 wins, the advantage is probably you don't play a very tough side in the very first round of the pre-quarter final. And if you don't play a very good team, it's always 1 versus 16 and 2 versus 15 and 3 versus 14. The 16 teams are ranked in the playoffs. So if you can avoid 1, 2, 3, or 4, your chances of winning that pre-quarterfinal game goes up dramatically. Now, my question to you is, how confident are you of making the playoffs?
We are very confident, as I said. That is my first milestone to be achieved. So as you said, we need to at least win like a couple of games. So I would never underestimate any team. On a given day, how we perform on the game day, get you a win. So I strongly believe in that. So that being said, so I think we just retrospect the games that we have played in the past, and we know where we are lagging, and we have to correct and fix those gaps. So if we do that, then we'll definitely get the result that we are looking for. Simple. So
Okay.
whomever you play with, you just give your best, then you just get the victory. That's it.
Now, let's go back to that FCC game, because I always find that, I learn more from my losses than from my wins, because in the euphoria of the win, you often forget a lot of things. Things are just brushed underneath the carpet, but a loss exposes a lot of things as to what are your deficiencies. You set the pitch. What was the pitch? Which pitch did you play on against FCC?
Woodhaven, I guess, pitch, I think field 2 or field 3.
I think number. Okay, but it doesn't matter. Woodhaven is a red clay pitch, and you'll probably find that some of the playoff games are going to take place at Woodhaven.
That was one of the reasons, I would say. I don't blame the pitch completely. That was one of the prime reasons that we have never used to get kind of bouncy wicket. And most of us got out and the keeper a lot of nick, that was because of an unexpected bounce, which we have never experienced in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to throw out that usually they try to play in Woodhaven, Novi Power Park,
correct,
and West Bloomfield Hills, that Drake Sports Park. So those three are the locations where most of the playoff games are going to take place. Certainly not the semifinals and the finals will not take place at Woodhaven, but that'll probably be in Novi Power Park or DSP. But obviously that would be a challenge which you will have to negotiate, because you are probably going to see a playoff game there. Whether you yourself will play or not, I do not know. But having said that, now this is team spotlight. You mentioned Prabhat Krishnamurthy. Parthiv, is this the same Prabhat Krishnamurthy who was on your team?
Yes,
okay, so he switched. So he has switched from your team and is gone to Thunderboltz. All right. And
I think he went to Dynamites before, and I think from Dynamites he's now moved to Thunderboltz.
Okay. Now, coming back to Vinoth, here is your opportunity to present your team. And everybody who comes on Team Spotlight, what they do is, it's a captain's responsibility to present his players. I'm sure it's very politically correct to say that, hey, all my players are good, they can all step in. But you know what? On every team, there are some players who stand out. And if you look at my team, I can tell you whether it is Arjun or Ronak or Hardeep, there are a bunch of guys who stand out, who game in and game out deliver it. And many of the opposition are trying to target those guys to get them out. My question is, introduce some of your star players to us. Tell us what you like about them, because we do not know, not just we, but the whole league does not know. But this is an opportunity for you to highlight your players, and that would be doing a service to them, because in no other league does this ever happen, because whether it is Mishka or any other league, they come play and nobody even knows. I used to play Mishka and I didn't even know my own teammate's name. We were that disjointed as a team that when a ball was going in the air, we'll say fielder, catch the ball, because every week it was a different 11. So here you have a close-knit team, you're working with them. And I think part of your responsibility as a skipper, it's as is mine and as is Parthiv's, is often we want to use that opportunity to say, hey, this is our players and this is what I like about them. This is what their strengths are. We don't want to hear about the weaknesses, because that is, I feel that that's the opposition's job to find out the weakness of a player. But what do you like about that? For example, Deepak Bhaskaran, I was looking up while going through this thing. I can see that out of 13 wickets he has taken, 8 of them are either bowled or LBW. That tells me that, he's bowling straight on the wickets. The guy is bang spot on. If you miss the ball, you probably are going to be out either bowled or LBW. And he has been in the runs. He has an average of 35. He has batted 3 times. 2 times he's not out. His average is 35. So guy is certainly performing. In passing, you mentioned it, but I'm sure there are other players too on your team who deserve that mention and who deserve to be introduced to DCL, because many people come to the show and just like now I can put a face with the name. Please tell us something about these players which highlights Thunderboltz. Obviously, that's the objective of Team Spotlight, is to introduce that team to the rest of the league.
Can I skip that question? Just kidding. So I can name all 25. I mean, like 22 players on the roster. If you ask me, I can.
Again, just the main players. I mean, again, we probably don't want to necessarily know into the nitty gritty of a player who's playing only 1 game or 2 games, but your main players, you see.
Clearly, like there's the one guy that's topping the charts in all aspects of the game, isn't he? So, for example, that guy, Satya, I know you mentioned his name.
Yeah, Deepak Bhaskaran. So that's the same player. Okay, that's the same player about whom I was talking, that he has taken 13 wickets.
So he's leading.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, Deepak, I think he's a very good all-rounder. That one word would suffice about him. So he's a very good bowler, and as I said, he's a complete all-rounder. And to mention a few, we have, as I said, I have Prabhat, I have Devnath, I have Gautam, and batting side.
By the way, I think Devnath has joined the call also.
Yep. I think he's part of the call. Riaz.
Hi everyone.
And I have hi Dev.
Hey Devnath.
We have Arvind. I think Arvind, they are in Prabhat, Arvind, they are batsmen. I have Jaffer. But Gautam, he's a very good all-rounder, and Jaffer too, he's a very good all-rounder. So so these are the few people I wanted to mention. And also, as I said, everyone is my strength. Every player, so all 11 should contribute, to win a game. And
anything more, or I had a question for Devnath.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead. Yeah.
Not getting the specifics you want, Vijay.
No, I did not. I mean, I expected a little more detail, because as is rest of the whole league also, in the sense that the league, the information which he provided, I probably could have provided the same too. So I could have said Deepak is good, and I saw that Jaffer had a good game, and I saw that Gautam had a really good game the last game, and I can say, so I was looking.
So I said he's an all-rounder. Few people, what else you need to talk about them? Maybe their bowling techniques. It's pretty difficult to describe, but you have to watch their game, how they bowl, maybe the line and length, and the speciality about their bowling figures. So it's pretty difficult to describe.
I was looking more like something like a narrative, like if you had asked me about my players, if I had to talk about Arjun Ajbani, well, I would say that he has scored 3 centuries in the league, but then I would say that, all 3 centuries were great. But I would say that, he's the only guy who has scored 3 centuries in the league. But if you ask me, the most important innings he ever scored was 18 runs. Because when he scored 18 runs, we chased 60 runs in a DCL final and won that DCL final. And he went 1 down and waited till the last man and won us the game. So I was looking for some sort of a narrative like that, where one of your players stood out to you and he has done something which you were trying to say, hey, this is what is special about it. It's like when you apply, let's say, to University of Michigan or Harvard University, they don't care just about your SAT scores or just your grade point average. They are looking at you as an individual, as a complete package. They tell you, build a house for me, don't just introduce me to one room, the kitchen or the bedroom or the hall, but rather the entire package. And now you tell me, how does this whole package integrate with itself? So that's where I was trying to go with. But since I have Devnath, think about it. If you want to add to some of your comments, I'll ask Devnath a question and then we
Hi,
could.
Of course, go ahead. Yep.
Well, I was not prepared for this though, but anyway. I'll
all right, so that's okay. But I just wanted to say that the video, which I assume that you were the one who made the video.
Yeah, I'm the whole guy who was actually, responsibility for actually doing that. Probably, I think I should be called as an accused one then.
By who? I don't know.
I think you brought to light an important issue. So yeah,
maybe the committee doesn't like you, but we love it. Okay, we don't care what the committee thinks. You get my point? None of us here care about what the committee thinks. If the committee doesn't like, that's their problem. As far as we are concerned, this is a broadcasting channel. This is a channel where we try to go and find issues and try to find a solution and broadcast what we think about it. But I thought that the video was extremely well done. So much so, without your permission, we still went ahead and broadcasted it because we thought it was an excellent video. And we felt anybody who sees it can see right away what the problem is. In fact, I liked it so much. I said, if this was a court of law, this is how I would introduce an information into the court of law and present it as evidence because it is irrefutable. But
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I wish no one was in a trouble because of that video.
I don't think so. I mean,
I don't think there was trouble. If anything, the league got what it was due. You have placed a certain order for jerseys, and you're expected to get those of the quality you expect.
I was just trying to say on the funny note, though.
No, I thought it was important because sometimes a picture is worth more than 1,000 words, and
absolutely,
you could say as much as you want, but when you have the picture right in front of it and it's a video there's nobody who's going to argue against it. But coming back to you as a player, is this your first year with Thunderboltz?
No, I have been with Thunderboltz since 2018. I don't know if I'm right, Vinoth. I think I'm from 2018. I'm a part of Thunderboltz. Yeah,
correct.
Okay. So how long has Thunderboltz been in existence? 3 years? 4 years?
Like I joined it somewhere in 2018, but I would say I think even it was a couple of years before I joined. I believe so. I'm really not
sure. So you were playing some other league, Vinoth, or how did that work? I mean, this is the first year you're joining DCL itself.
DCL, I was playing DCL before. I'm actually not new to DCL, but I was playing with a different team. So
which team was that?
Like the first team I played was with TCA, Troy Cricket Association.
Okay, Stallions or Beavers?
Stallions.
Okay. Oh, so you have run into us then?
Probably somewhere like a mice under the the
no,
ground.
I mean Glads have played TCA Stallions, so that's why I was asking that question.
Probably,
So okay. So this year with TCA pulling their two teams out, you basically joined Thunderboltz. Tell me, you played in TCA Stallions. You now played for Thunderboltz. What do you like about Thunderboltz, which stands out for you?
Yeah, it's okay. Even though I'm not prepared, I think I have an answer here. So, like first of all,
we want the answer from the heart. That's why we ask the questions point blank, and often the answer from the heart is the truthful answer.
The answer is going to be true as long as same as the video for the jersey. So like one thing from Vinoth, like the Thunderboltz or I would say the captains. I think the initially Riaz was actually managing for a season, and so I would say it's more like a family. Like we actually get united. It's not just we play a game, we just vanish out and we just show up only for the next game. We actually talk a bit more about cricket, and like not just the players, as a family. Even if I just walk into someone's home, like we all play, finally, like we even talk about, even the family members talk about the game we play. So that's something, like I want to say it's more like a family bonding. Like I just want to say, like Vinoth, the day you win or day you lose, he doesn't show a different face. It's going to be the same one. He's going to be neutral. And if someone knows Tamil here, I think Satya knows. And like since you speak Malayalam, I think you can catch it up. When we really fumbled at our FCC game, and I was like pretty down. He's just the match. That's what he said. So he is really not concerned. The day it's the day. That's it. So like he said, he covered up the most of the things. So like it's more than a team, I would say. Like we are all bonded together. It's not like we appreciate each other. We if my shoulder is down one or the other day, like other seniors or who my co-players come just sit talk to me. We actually have a lot of fun around. Like if you have a chance, sit in a dugout, probably you will be enjoying a lot. That's the real fun part you actually have. If at all, if you watch the video of the game, if you are sitting right behind the video or the camera, you will really know what the fun actually happens behind. It's not about the day we win or lose. The fun is still the fun in the dugout.
Yeah, I mean, again, I didn't watch the full video. The only way I could have found out about the video was actually if I did see a video. That's why I asked the question to Vinoth, because one of the things I found was a video of your practice matches. And that's when I really got impressed, because these guys are serious. They are even recording their practice matches because only a serious team goes and does that. But congrats on that. And I know TCA was big on WhatsApp, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they were, Ajay Reddy always used to say that they have thousands of WhatsApp messages floating around and things like that. What's the biggest difference between TCA and Thunderboltz? Other than this,
if I have to say,
other than this, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, if I have to say in one word, it's more bonding. We understand each other.
All right, fair enough. I'll let others ask any more questions, because I'm done with my questions for the time being.
Devnath, we definitely appreciate the candor. It's சுருக்கமா சொன்னாலும் அழகா சொன்னீங்க. It's
அவ்வளவு சுருக்கமா சொல்லலைங்க.
இல்ல பாண்டிங்னு ஒரே வார்த்தையில சொன்னீங்க பாத்தீங்களா? So that's good. And I don't think you needed much preparation, because I just heard from Satya that you actually volunteered to come on the show just a few minutes ago. So that's great. That's the kind of involvement we want from our viewers in the community. So I just wanted to say publicly that we really appreciate you taking the initiative to come on the show yourself.
The reason I came to the show is like I really want to say that you took the situation very seriously about the jersey, and you reacted it pretty well. I really had an assumption that it's not going to turn before July end. By the time most of the leagues would have gone. But the turnaround was really good. The reason why I came for that is to really appreciate on the real quick turnaround that you have taken the situation, analyzed it, and you actually bounced it really back. So that's
finally
okay.
Finally someone saying good about the committee.
I don't know. I do not know if it is good about the committee. He said it was good that you guys took a serious this thing. I would rather say the media made it into a big event. The moment it became a big event, it's like out here in India or anywhere in the world. The moment the media pounces on the information and acts on it, now the committee, whether they like it or not, they have to address it. Otherwise, they look like a band of jokers. So, which committee wants to be a band of jokers? So every committee, if they have anything worth their salt, are going to act upon it, because there is a immediate hue and cry. And so the moment this came out, it was inevitable that the committee had to do something about it. You get my point? And everybody also understood, okay, now we have an issue, it needs to be addressed. So it so happens that you are partially committee, and you are also an integral part of this unit here. So you are in a unique situation. Same with Satya.
What? I'm actually wearing the jersey today. It's pretty
okay. Very good.
Yeah, right.
How do you like this jersey, by the way? How do you like this jersey?
It's very good. I was pretty cautious that I gave a size extra. Probably if I had given the right size that what fits me, it would have been really good. But even this is good. So even if I have given one size bigger, I would have been like more like an early 90s cricketers, who really wears a luge. Like Gangulis and Jawgal Srinath will be wearing, it will be like more loose. So, but it was not that one. It really feels good for me, and I really like it. So that's the reason I was here to actually, thank everyone. And
quick question. How is the quality? And did you get the colors exactly as you wanted?
Exactly, yes.
So you got the exact colors and you got the quality also is exactly as you wanted the quality. So that's good because Parthiv can take this back to Venkat Vadnala because Venkat Vadnala, I believe, is the person who did the negotiating on behalf of the committee with cricket clubs. If I'm not mistaken, again, I could be getting my facts wrong.
You're right. Vadnala basically headed that whole transaction. But yeah, the positive feedback which we've received, or at least it's not positive, but at least acknowledgement that t-shirts have turned out in the right sizes, in the quality aspect as well. So we haven't heard any complaints so far.
You haven't heard it. You haven't heard it, Parthiv. Let me give you the first complaint. Our color is totally off. All right, our color was totally off. We did not get the color which we wanted. So Satya came and asked me, "What do you want? What do you want to do about it?" And my reaction was, I don't care. It's up to you guys. If you go and take a poll of some of your senior players. Don't ask me. If you want to go with this color, it's fine with me. If you don't want to go with the color, that's also fine. But why don't you poll some of our senior players? He polled the senior players and they didn't like the color and they said, no, we want our original color. So I think Satya has gone back and told Venkat that, no, we want a change. But yes, before we say everything was perfect, no, there was something wrong. Yes. That's why I specifically asked him, how was the color? Did he get the exact color he wanted?
I think I gave the color, like it's not my effort here. So I had my other team guy who was also working on basically I think I paid much part in the jersey design along with my friend, my teammate Ashwin. So we both were actually equally working together to get this certain design. Of course, we have been shortlisting more since there were too many filters in the shortlist. Finally ended up in the jersey, and when we finalized the jersey, we gave the color code along with it.
Yeah, we also gave the color code. If I'm not mistaken, Satya gave the color code, but we didn't get the color we wanted. But I think Satya specifically gave the color code. If I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, Satya, but I thought that's what you told me.
Yeah, given the color code.
Well, at least I guess we have had some teams that whose situation with the jersey has been rectified. So yes, all might not be hunky-dory with the committee's actions, but at least they're moving in the right direction, I guess. So Parthiv, I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a breather there.
No, I mean, I think Avi, I think they did a good job. I mean, they got the. Let's give credit to Vadnala. Vadnala went and got the job done. I mean, he got this thing. Only one team, as far as I know. Again, I could be wrong. At least for Glads, it didn't work out. But if it worked out for 31 other teams, we can't. We have to give credit to the man for going and negotiating and getting the things done. And the one team which didn't get it done, I'm sure he'll be able to call and talk to them and say, "Hey, we want a replacement." Just like anything which is not right, you always have that ability to get a replacement done. But let's give them credit. I think they did a good job, and at least on the second time around.
Yeah, I think they were quite prompt in redressing the issue and arranging for replacements. So, however, Vinoth, to sign off, so a bunch of exciting games coming up for you guys. Next up, I guess, is SSK. How do you fancy your chances? I'm assuming you're pretty confident going into that game.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, Vinoth, are you here? Yeah, there you go.
Okay, and get your question. So you're breaking.
Oh, my bad. So no, I was just asking, you have a bunch of exciting games lined up. I think first up, you face SSK this coming weekend. So how do you fancy your chances against them? Pretty confident of rolling them?
Pretty confident. So we have a better chance of winning them,
Okay.
So yeah, so I think that TAS is very crucial, I would say. I think it's a morning game in NPP. Okay. If it doesn't rain, then okay, I think TAS is a crucial thing.
Right. Great. Well, you do definitely sound confident, and we are definitely excited to continue shining the spotlight and following the performance of Team Thunderboltz. So from all of us here on DCL Primetime, we wish you guys the very best and a lot of success, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the playoffs.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you very much for joining us today here on DCL Primetime. Please do feel free to stay on. if you'd like, or it's entirely up to you. Not a problem. I guess we will move on to our next segment, primarily shepherded by Parthiv, which is the analysis of the previous week's games. We had it all. I guess we had some close games, we had some comfortable wins, and we had some absolute thrashings as well. And to bring them all to you, Parthiv, over to you.
Yeah, sorry before everyone. I would like to sign off. I was just here to thank everyone in this concern, and yeah, so thanks a lot. And the show is doing a good job, and I'm actually being a fan of Viju. Actually, the way he actually takes the show. The energy he brings out. I would say the energy comes even more faster before the flight reaches US. So, so yeah.
So rhyming phrases and cinematic dialogues are existing.
Thank you, Devnath, and thank you, Vinoth. But there was a reason why I handed over the job of hosting to Avi, because you guys are probably not familiar with this, but before we did the talk show, I used to write a EP poll. I used to do a ranking of all the 39 teams. At that time, that we had 39 teams, 1 through 39. And every week, somebody got high praise and somebody got toasted and roasted. So everybody knew that was my style. And when Satya wanted to do this, he said, only if I come on, he was going to do this. And I said, well, if he does the technical aspects, I will do it. But then I felt that the right person to host was Avi. And then we were lucky in getting Parthiv. So we felt Parthiv can do a good analysis. And that's why he's the #1 analyst right now. Obviously, he seems to know something better than both of us, both me and Avi. So he's clearly the #1 analyst. Each person has been put in the right role. This allows me the freedom to speak freely. So thank you for the kind words, but thank you for the fabulous job you're doing. Congrats for topping the pool. And as you go along, good luck in all the rest of your games. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Are we starting in this order, Satya? Brownstone FCC?
Yes.
Okay. So this game, I truly was expecting Brownstone to come back strongly, because it was, as I'd mentioned previously, July is the time when Brownstone suddenly wakes up or suddenly has the jolt. But again, this was another disappointing performance. They brought in Talal for this game, but they didn't have Mansab for Mansab services. And even like without Talal and Mansab together, I think the probability of winning dramatically decreases. I think they need both of them to kind of, with the ball and the bat, if Brownstone has to win. Their batting, like every other game so far, has stuttered. They haven't shown much of an intent to score. You don't see much of the boundary hits coming through. And apart from small contributions, I think in this game it was Ahmed Kazim and Rashid down the order. They just managed to score 63, which is not going to be enough with this ball. I mean, with this ball, I think a par score is 95 and above. If you have anything below that, then you need like a really awesome start. Like first 5 overs, you knock out 2 or 3 wickets, then is your chance. And that didn't happen. In the bowling, if you see FCC Agni, Ramesh, my friend, dear friend Ramesh, again, nicest guy in DCL. He's very underrated. He doesn't come off as threatening, but he's always among the wickets. And if you look at that, he got those priceless wickets of Rehan, both the Rehans, in fact, up front, and that basically just broke the backbone. And if you look at the scorecard, I was comparing the scorecards to kind of find a story for Brownstone, and the story is runouts. Every single game they have multiple runouts. This game had 2 runouts as well. In the previous game, we had 4 or 3 runouts. Rian Syed, we toasted him for runouts, and this does tell a story, and we all. Like I'm sad to see Brownstone, at the bottom of the table. I don't think I've ever seen them really at the bottom of the table, but maybe the age is catching up finally to them. So, and every team goes through this. I think even the international teams go through this. Everyone, has that where there's a change of guard, change of baton. where the older generation passes it on to the newer generation, and probably Rashid and Rehan and both the Rehans all have to kind of sit and think about what's next for Brownstone. But I think this year is the door is shutting and almost shut, I think, on them for the playoffs. So I hope Brownstown is taking this as a way to kind of rebuild their team, their next generation, their legacy, and start fresh from next year. But all kudos to FCC Agni on the way they decimated Brownstown. The chase was just immaculate. Only 3 wickets, and the top order just completely never really gave Brownstown a chance. Biju.
Yeah, Avi, on this game, Brownstown, as I said last week, they had to win this game. Mathematically, they are alive, but for all intents and purposes, practically they are dead. Brownstown for this game brought in Talal as well as Abdul Parcha for this game. The last I think Abdul Parcha played was probably in 2012 or 2014 or something like that. And it's 6 or 7 years later, or at least I didn't see anything in 2018 and 17 from Abdul Parcha. Last week I introduced you to the crowd to the Rottweiler, and I have a big size mirror in my bedroom. And one day the Rottweiler was having a dentistix, a huge treat, which he loves. And he was having it in his mouth, and he saw himself in the mirror. And the moment he saw himself in the mirror, he dropped the dentistix treat and started barking at himself. And the more he barked, the other guy, it seemed like, he wanted to pounce on him, So he was barking and the other dog is barking back. And it was a funny incident because this is the first time he was seeing himself in the mirror. And he was wondering, who is this character there, But in the process, he dropped the treat. And when the treat was dropped, the German Shepherd came and took the treat and ate the treat. But just like the Rottweiler saw himself in the mirror and couldn't identify who that other person was, Brownstown is now looking at themselves in the mirror and they cannot recognize themselves. This was not the position Brownstown has ever been in. They are at the bottom of the pool. This team is a shell of its former glory days. They look old and they look slow. And just like Roger Federer just now announced that he's out of the Olympics, his knee injury is acting up again. I don't think we are ever again probably going to see the Federer of old, but Brownstown is in the same situation. They are old and they are slow. And I think something has to change. Yep. I think at the end of the season, Rashid needs to go back and sit down with Rehan and say, okay, what do we want to do? Do we want to continue with this, or do we actually go out and get a little bit of talent? Because you probably might have to replace some of the talent which is there. They are also old and they're not getting it done. And maybe have a say, okay, you can play maybe 4 to 6 games, but we need to bring in a little more players because I don't think Rehan Bukhari is the answer. Clearly, he's been playing 4-5 games and he has not got anything done. This game also, very first ball, he was bowled or he was out, and he bowled 2 overs and he went for 12 runs and picked no wickets. He is not the same player. And unless these guys are willing to go and do some workout and get fitter or do something to change the equation, nothing is going to get better. But credit FCC Agni, it was a clinical win. None of us saw this coming. We thought that Rashid will bring anybody and everybody, but yes, he brought in a couple of new names, but they couldn't get the job done. Ramesh Satyavaram had a fantastic game, and so also Raghu had a fantastic game. So the RR boys got it done. They turned back the clock on the hands of time, and they were the dominant team, and they won with bonus 4 games, and Brownstown has 0 points, which means the remaining 6 games they have to win. And I don't see that happening. So for all practical purposes, I think in the NBA, I do not know if you see it, you'll find that when a team is knocked out of the playoffs, Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith have something called gone fishing. And Rashid Malik and Brownstown are gone fishing, baby. And so I think Rashid Malik will be out in the Atlantic. He'll be doing a lot of fishing. And while he'll be fishing, he might be catching a few blaster ducks there. All right, we'll get to the blaster game, but he might catch a few blaster ducks and maybe he'll have to do a lot more deep water fishing for next season if they want to make an impact. But this season pretty much seems to be dead as a dodo for them.
Yeah, certainly a sad state of affairs for a team that was runner-up last time round. But hopefully they'll do some soul searching and rebuilding, and we'll see the Brownstown that we've come to be familiar with. Next up, MI Rangers versus Sterling Strikers. Looks like quite a clinical performance by the Strikers. Would you say that, Parthiv?
Yeah, I think Sterling Strikers, if I had to summarize this game in one sentence, I think the MI Rangers essentially just ran themselves out. You had three runouts, and that too, your main man, Abhilash, run out the opening combination. And I'm sure Venkatesh Mutineni must not be the most likable guy in the dugout. When you run somebody like Abhilash out, their chances of winning the game just dips. So and we've all been in a situation where we run out somebody who we know is an impact player. They were not. I think they were not helped by an injury. I see one of the batters got injured, and he was looking good. He was on 14 or 15 odd runs. So he was looking good and might have added a few runs. Raza Ali, our main guy, again among the wicket again. He went for a few more runs than he normally does, but again, he still is among the wickets. Always has a bag full of them at the end of the game. There were some good contributions. We had Manoj and Aditya. But the lower order completely collapsed. If you look at the lower middle order, I think they had at one stage they were 6 for 88 and they got all out at 93. So that tells a story. Those 10 to 15 runs or 20 runs which the lower order could add, that would have made a world of difference. Especially, I've seen teams which end well. When you finish well, the team morale, the dugout is pumped up. When you go into bowling, you always have an impetus to kind of go and bowl faster or bowl with more accuracy, and the reverse is true as well. When you don't finish well, and you basically just got out really cheaply. The lower order got out cheaply. Your shoulders drop. The team dugout doesn't have that momentum. You need that quick fire wicket at the top to kind of get back in the game, and that didn't happen for MI Rangers. They didn't get the early wickets, although they did come back in the game somewhat. They picked up 3 wickets in quick succession. But Sterling Strikers, made sure they were slow to begin with. But then, Syed Ahmed, Ali Ikram, Syed Mujtaba all made contributions in the middle order to make sure that Sterling Strikers coast really quickly. And the Sterling Strikers are really looking good. I think they've got some really good players from FHCC and Canton 11 and some new folks as well. So I do feel they have a very, very good chance in this pool to come a really strong finish into the playoffs.
Avi, this was a great win for Sterling Strikers. It was a very poor strategic game from Michigan Rangers. They had, as Parthiv already said, 3 runouts, 1 retired hurt, and then they compounded that error by not using their bowlers wisely. I think for Sterling Strikers, somebody other than Raza finally stepped up. I think Ehsan Ansari has done a masterful job. He has been winning all the 50-50, 60-40, 70-30 kind of games. These are the ones where, if it's 60% chance to win, he's capturing all those points. 4 games, and he has captured all the possible 20 points. Now, will Sterling Strikers top Pool C? I very much doubt that because they are yet to play Pokeries, they are yet to play GLCC, they are yet to play Glads, and they have a brutal schedule in August coming up because in 4 weeks they play those 3 teams, and I can assure you they are not going to go undefeated. One of those 3 teams, or possibly 2 out of the 3 teams, or even all 3 of the teams might beat them. But that's the brutal schedule. But the front end of their schedule was a little soft and a little favorable. They had 50-50 games, 60-40 games. They captured the entire 20 points. They had to do it, and they have done it. Now, if you ask me, you can pretty much pencil them into the playoffs. So 1 out of that 5 spots, which is coming out of Pool C, is going to be taken by Sterling Strikers in all likelihood, because all they need is 1 more win with bonus and they are in. If they win 2 more wins, there is nobody who can knock them out. But they do have the schedule of death coming up, but they are making hay while the sun shines. For the moment, pencil them into the playoffs. If they are the exact opposite of Brownstown. Brownstown has 0 points in 4 games. These guys have 20 points in 4 games. And there was a time where Brownstown was the number 1 team when you compare FHCC and Brownstown and Canton 11. That was the number 1 team of these 3 teams. But right now, Sterling Strikers is looking as the number 1 team. So congrats to Ehsan and Sterling Strikers. Fantastic.
Right. Next up, I think, was probably what I'd call the upset of the week. Thunderboltz, yes, they did take it right up till the end, to the deep end, but still prevailing over the Patriots, which is contrary to the prediction of all the 4 analysts on the DCL primetime show.
Yeah, I think we all basically, went with more of the predictable, giving more weightage to Patriots because of the experience in DCL. Right. But sometimes, it backfires. The freshness of the team, or the team that has nothing to lose, is the one that comes trump, because the players don't have much of a backlog. They don't know much of the bowlers. They don't know the batters, so they tend to not give respect, and that works well, because you basically don't care who Mansab Bhatt is, who Arjun Advani is, and you just play them normally as you would do. And then as you start playing in DCL, you start to recognize that these guys are the cream of DCL, and that's when even though they don't, maybe it's a bad ball, people tend to kind of defend because this is just a respect for that bowler, or the and in case of the batting, you just basically take your time to kind of get used to it. Right. In this game, I think Patriots, the 90 runs or 90 plus runs which they scored wasn't enough. It was always, the 90 plus games are always dependent on how well you come back and bowl. Sai Tota from Patriots, he was the only sole contributor, with a little bit of contribution from Moon, but really the middle and lower order just basically failed completely. They had a chance to kind of pile in a few runs at the fag end of the innings, and anything around the 110, 120 would have made an interesting game. But Deepak Bhaskaran, we talked about him. He was the chief destroyer among those wickets again. He tops the charts, and there's a reason for it. And even in the batting, if you look at it, he is the guy who actually came in and scored those final winning runs. So he's not only just a bowler, and as Vinoth mentioned, he's a batsman, all-rounder himself. So I'm surprised knowing now Deepak is a great all-rounder, to see him down the order. So I'm hoping that this might be a trigger for to think about getting him a little higher up in the order, to give him a little more exposure, a little more control over the game. And I do feel like Patriots, again, that's another team which is too flattering to deceive. They're good on paper, but they still haven't shown that performance which we all like. I think we all analysts believe that Patriots have a lot more in their tank, but every week we see that their performance is not up to the par which we give them credit for. So next time I'm going to be really, really thinking hard before picking them.
Avi, I think the Patriots are in trouble. They are losing these games which have been penciled in as victories for them before the season started. Last time out, it was a 50-50 game. They had to, with the SSK, they lost that one. And now this one, which was probably a 60-40 or a 70-30 game, which at the beginning of before the game started, they lost that one out. Once again, as we said, Deepak Bhaskaran had a fantastic game. He leads the league in wickets taken, but 8 out of his 13 wickets, as I said, are either bowled or LBW. In other words, if you miss it, you're most likely out. But the season is young. but he has batted only 3 innings and 2 times not out, and he has been doing a fabulous job at the spot at which he is batting. So he's having a phenomenal season. I think in this game, Gautam Balasubramaniam had a fantastic game. So since we had them in this team spotlight, I shall not speak much more on the Thunderboltz in the interest of time. But I think if you're Nitin, you need to go back and to the drawing board, and you need to find out what's wrong with your team. Because yes, you have some good players, but at this point, there is no production happening. Just like the Sterling strikers were winning all the 50-50 and the 60-40 games and the 70-30 games, you, on the other hand, are losing all these 50-50, 60-40 games. And that means when you're going to go into the playoffs and you're tied with one of these teams, you're out. So right now, their season of progressing to the playoffs is very much in jeopardy, I would say. So time for the team to have a meeting and figure out what they need to do. But good luck all the rest of the way for both teams.
Before we move on to the next game, I believe we had Sathwik from Troy Hawks join us, but looks like he's dropped off momentarily.
He'll be joining after some time.
Okay. So, well, next up is MCC Miles versus Punjab Warriors. I think a perfect example of why we all agree that Parthiv is the most astute analyst amongst us, because he was the only one that had put his faith in the MCC Miles, and they have taken him miles in this competition.
Yeah, I think MCC Miles is a very good team, to be honest. They have like Praneeth and Sanjay and Brahma. I think they have a very good Rahul Chenna. Yes, I forgot him. They have a very good side. It was just a matter of time. Like, I was surprised as well that they haven't. This was their first victory, and even though like this game itself, Sanjay still hasn't found his rhythm or his batting. I think he'll be happy that at least the fellow batters around him didn't disappointed. Brahma and Jaswant gave them a good solid start, and then late order contribution, as you see from Prithvi, got them to a really respectable total. Anything above, as I mentioned, 110 is always challenging when you're chasing. And that although the team, Punjab Warriors would have fancied themselves, because knowing their batting has been their strength, they've been able to kind of really put the ball out of the park at will. But this was a different situation where they were chasing, and they're chasing 110 plus. And they lost wickets in a hurry. And I think Hardeep had mentioned, I think last time around, that the Punjab Warriors team is talented, but they still don't know how to finish the games or how to kind of apply themselves to this DCL format, where you kind of have to take the game deep. Even though it's 110, you got to take 5 overs at a time. I think Punjab Warriors went for a rollicking start, lost a lot of wickets at the top. And after that, it wasn't there. And the other common theme which I have seen in Punjab Warriors game is that they let opposition slip. Even here, if you compare MCC Miles, they had MCC Miles down to 8 for 75. If you look at the fall of wickets, they were 8 for 75, and after that, the last 2 wickets piled on 40 odd runs. That, I feel, that is the game changer here. If you allow the last 2 wickets to carry over for 40 odd runs, you not only have given away the game, but you've also lost the momentum after that. The shoulders, I'm sure, are going to be down coming into the dressing room. And their batting, the Manjinder did get 5 wickets, which was he's a standout performer for Punjab Warriors, but their batting, nobody really stepped up. They lacked anyone like putting their hand up and saying, I'm going to play a long innings. I think most of them, you see, are caught, which makes me believe that they might have tried a few shots and got caught in the deep. That's just my guess, but I do feel I'm going to give Punjab Warriors this entire season as a learning experience. To kind of get used to the game, get used to this ball, because I see that there are standout performers in them. They are not like pushovers. So this season, we might not see them in the playoff, but I'm pretty sure if they come back, they'll come back stronger next season.
So Avi, on this game, I do not know if you guys have heard of this. A peacock and a hawk were having a conversation. And the peacock started telling the hawk, look at me, I'm robed like a king. I'm dressed like a king. I have all kinds of this beautiful colors of the rainbow in all my feathers. I have the gold and the purple and the blue and the red and the blue. And so look at you, you have hardly any color. And the hawk turned around and said, while I float among the stars, you walk around like a cock in the dunghill. So same thing is happening with the Punjab Warriors. Last week, most of us predicted Punjab Warriors to win. But coming into this game, we were talking about singing the praises of the Fab Five of the Punjab Warriors of Inderpreet, Amrinder Pal, Ranveer, Manjeetner, and Prithpal. But only 2 out of the 5 showed up. And just like that, the peacock cannot fly. Same thing we found out on game day. The Punjab Warriors were not able to do any flying. The Miles were the ones who were doing all the flying. And under the able leadership of Ram Saladi, who finally played, he put on a show. He batted very well at the end. And the next thing you know, they put 116. It was actually 76 for 9. It was not even 8 wickets. It was 9 wickets. And these guys could not get that last man, Ram Saladi, out. And Ram Saladi batted with Prithvi, and they took the score all the way to 116. That is experience. And that's what, as Parthiv said, Punjab Warriors solely lack. They have been letting opposition go after taking 9 wickets and relaxing. This is not the first game they have done this. They did the same thing to Sterling strikers. And, the Glads game also, if their batting had stuck around for some more time, they probably could have made a bigger game out of it. But credit Jashwant, Arun, Brahma, and Prithvi and Ram Saladi. They had a fantastic game. Great win for Miles. But Punjab Warriors are not going to make the playoffs. I don't see that learning experience climbing up. So I think Punjab Warriors miss out the playoffs, even though some of us early in the season thought that maybe they can make the playoffs. But clearly after 4 games, we can see that, yes, the Thunderboltz are looking like they can make the playoffs, which we did not anticipate. And we thought Punjab Warriors might make the playoffs, but we are finding it's the other way around. Punjab Warriors are playing themselves out of the playoffs, while the Thunderboltz are playing themselves consistently, trying to get to the promised land. So that's about it.
Yeah, but next up really doesn't make for very interesting reading. Looks like it was quite a one-sided game. FCC comfortably romping over the Southfield Super Kings, who didn't put up much of a fight at all. Looks like
no, actually, it was a pretty close game, Avi, if you look at it.
But oh yeah, that's right. Oh, sorry, I didn't see the wickets column there. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 48 for 9. Wow.
Yes, it was a pretty. It reminds me of the early 2010 DCL games. Low scoring.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Bowling dominated, low scoring thriller, and I have seen many games like this. This is like probably dozen games I've seen where someone batting first have scored like 40 and 50, and the other team has struggled. I think this happens on especially low scoring games. The other team either doesn't know whether to just go and hammer the runs out, or whether to take it easy, just play the overs out, and automatically the runs come. And in that process, they lose the wicket.
And it's interesting because now, I don't know why. I think I read the wickets column from 2 games down, and I said 48 for 2, but no, right? I remember where Pana had come across to our game, and he said they were chasing 45. I said, oh yeah, that's a walk in the park for you. You can probably just stay here and sit with me. And he's like, well, you never know with us, right? And the next thing, you see. Yeah, so right. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so SSK, I mean, I think they struggled. Venkat, Sujan, and Prabhu were spot on, with their bowling, and getting SSK out SK for 44. FCC must have thought, they would have an early lunch, as you just said. But anything can happen, and they were mistaken. SSK came roaring back. Apart from Tejas, I think if you look at him, he scored 30 out of the 44, which is 90% of the runs, which is astounding when you see that batting lineup where all the all the other people have under 5 runs to show for. But somehow FCC held on this game by the skin of their teeth. And we I think last time when we talked about this, we all predicted this is not going to be an easy game. It's not going to be FCC just walking over SSK. SSK was obviously
honest,
going to give a
this should
fight.
probably have been the showcase game, or at least it turned out to be the showcase game.
Right. And I think for FCC, the batting is not clicking. I still don't see a lot of the Falcon veterans, especially Sainath. He was, I think, at one point of time, the Falcons batting backbone, and he hasn't been amongst the runs yet. So I think if FCC has to go anywhere, like around the playoffs and beyond playoffs, I think Sai is going to be really crucial in the batting lineup.
Avi, it says that FCC won with a bonus, but if you ask any DCL astute observer, they'll tell you that that they could have very well lost the game. All you had to do is lose one wicket, and they would have lost the game. Forget the bonus. But this is the beauty of these low-scoring games. Yeah, it is 44 for 10, but the fact that FCC scored 48 means that they won the bonus here. Considering in how many overs they scored that 48. And if you ask me, Tejas Shantagowda, when he is in full flow, he bats like Viv Richards. He disdainfully sends anything which he doesn't like to the fence. But
that is high praise, Vijay.
Well, he does. He really can bat well. And here is the beauty of the whole thing is that it's the temperament where I have questions about Tejas. But in this game, coming down at the one drop position, he batted with the temperament of Kane Williamson. So most people are going to give credit to Tejas Shantagowda that he is rightfully the man of the match. He certainly won them the game single-handedly. But you also have to give credit to Venkat Vadnala, who is not there on that scorecard. He is there in the did not bat section, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, I thought there he is, there did not bat section. But this is smart captaincy. This is where DCL experience, DCL captaincy, this is where a captain earns his money. Look at the scorecard and you'll find that he sent Panna right opening. This is a very smart decision. Yes, it did not work out, but it did not work out because of a run out. But if Panna is there, he's a guy who can bat for 25 overs and he'll frustrate you. And you need only 44 runs. Panna is the right kind of guy to send there and you won't lose wickets. It's when Panna got out that the rest of them, fell down like a deck of cards. But really fantastic game by Tejas Shantagowda, but great captaincy by Venkat Vadnala. Let's give him credit for that. This was a game which they could have lost and got only 1 point, but instead they walk away with 5 points. So the difference and the swing in fortunes, it swung from one end of the pendulum to the other end of the pendulum. SSK went from possibly winning the game to losing the game and getting 0 points and having nothing to show forth from playing this game. But all credit to Tejas, and in my books, fantastic captaincy by Venkat Vadnala. He's getting the job done, but as Parthiv said, I have serious concerns about the FCC batting. They have not been clicking. Yes, the points are accumulating, but this kind of batting is not going to get you too far. You are going to pay the price at some point, and most probably it's going to be in the playoffs where other good teams will not let you off the hook.
Absolutely. Like Parthiv aptly said, FCC basically escaping by the skin of their teeth. Dark Horses versus Safaris seems to have been a pretty fiercely contested game. Both sides.
That was another game. I think there were a few close games this week. This was another one of those games, and a lot of the close games, and especially those games which teams have been chasing and trumped. That is great to see. A long time ago, there was a convention where DCL you bat first, the chances of winning dramatically are almost 95% or more, 100%. But I see a lot of teams chasing, a lot of teams winning the toss and opting to bowl, and then chasing successfully, which is which makes the game more competitive. The ball is helping. The pitches are better. The surface is affording itself and holding on to it. So I think that's great signs. And we roasted Pankaj Watts last week, and I think he must have either heard Biju or he must have heard to the grapevine that he's being roasted, and he came back. He basically perform. He basically was a top scorer for Dark Horses. Anchored the innings, and along with Rahul and Hamza, kind of steadied the innings in the middle order. And after, I think their top order just collapsed. I think they were 3 down very quickly, but I think they held on to it. And Safari to their credit, bowled really economically. I mean, there wasn't anything to complain about. Extras were low. The bowlers, shared the wickets among them. And 97 was always going to be competitive. And Dark Horses had to come back and bowl well. And they had Safaris on their knees. They had, if I look the scorecard, they were 6 for 38, chasing 97. And it was only a late rearguard partnership between Uday and Ravi Rachan that's basically just pulled Safaris through. And Dark Horses must be blaming themselves to be in a position of 6 for 38 and letting the game go. You had 23 extras, which was another one of those killer moments. Giving up 23 extras. Dark Horses they had no business of giving away the 4 overs extra to Safaris. I'm starting to like this Safaris team. I know we've talked about them not being able to kind of deliver from the 3 or 4 years they've been in DCL. But I think they might have taken this comment or this this argument to the heart, and now I really have to mince my words this season. I think they're looking in the right direction. They're definitely adding wins, which they're no longer now what we used to tag them as the basement kings. So all kudos to them. I think if any of our comments or any of our discussions have helped them pull their socks up, that's great news. But great win by Safaris. Great comeback, being able to kind of chase from that position and getting the win.
Avi, if you ask me, it's the power of the media. The power of the media is pretty obvious. Whenever we have been calling people out, people have been coming up and delivering, and they have been improving the level of play. Now they realize that somebody is on their case, and you don't want to look bad in the front of the media. And it is amazing. It is amazing how behavior changes, how people go about doing their business, how much more serious they become. Let's give credit to the Safaris. They have been doing pretty good. They took Indus Thunders all the way to the stretch, and then last week again they had a very good game, and then this week once again. And now going by that momentum, all of us had predicted Safaris to win this game, and sure enough, they did justice to that. They came out and won the game. And when you win the game and when you do all the right things, you get all the credit. So let's give Venkat Kolla and Safaris, all the players on the Safaris, great credit, because they have come a long way from being basement kings and being the butt of all jokes and people not respecting you, to this point where people say, hey, it doesn't matter where you were. Now let's look where you are, and you have really improved a lot. But if you're the Dark Horses team, it's week after week after week where they have been giving up almost 4 overs of extras. Once again, 23 runs as extras, which is 21 wides, and 2 no balls, which is free hits, you see. So they're killing themselves, but they just can't seem to be bowling straight. Pankaj Watts, we called him out last week, and sure enough, this week he delivers a great performance. But he needs more than that. He needs some help too. So hopefully some of these Rahul Bandaris or the Bandari brothers will step in and help him out. But right now, Dark Horses are in at the bottom of the basement in Pool A, and they'll have to do some superior cricketing if they want to get out of there. But anyway, good luck to both those teams.
Absolutely, yeah. With 6 more games to go for the previous week, I think we should probably try and speed up a little bit. Detroit Bulls versus Legends. This, I think we can safely say, I don't think I'm making a mistake this time in reading them. It was a very clinical performance by the Legends, completely walloping the Detroit Bulls.
Yeah, I think with or without Harish, I think Legends proved they're still very clinical in the way they perform. And they elected to bowl, which is a sign of a great maturing team, a team which is confident. And even though they were disappointed allowing Bulls to score 90 plus, I think they still had it very much under control. From the Bulls side, it's good to see Gino coming up the order. He opened the batting. He got good support from Mahesh, but that was it. And one member I think who hasn't been in amongst the runs or wickets is Soju. I know I've seen him. I've played against him. He's a good all-rounder, and for Bulls, he's going to be the key if they have to kind of keep winning games. And for Legends, I think Gautam Radhakrishna was clinical. He was like his chasing reminds me his innings. It looks like more of like how Kohli goes about chasing. Run a ball, couple of hits to the boundaries, but he maintained that 100+ strike rate. It's almost effortless the way he goes about chasing. The opposition doesn't even feel like the other batsman, the batsman at the other end is actually hammering them. But when you're chasing and you can keep that momentum of 100+ strike rate, is just awesome. So all kudos to the Legends team. I think they're just going to get better and better as the season goes.
Avi, since we are running out of time, I'll take a pass on this game and we'll go on because I think we are running out of time. So we probably have to speed up our analysis on all ends up.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Viju. Hitmen versus Spartans. Yet again, another one-sided game. Hitmen winning this one comfortably, Parthiv.
Yes, this was a surprise to me. We are playing Hitmen sometime in the season, and I counted this to be a victory in our bag. And looking at this performance, it no longer looks like that Hitmen is going to be a straight walkover for us. Spartans have picked up this knack of winning the toss and electing to bowl, and they did the same this week as well. They have chased in the previous 2 games successfully, but this time around, Hitmen got the better of them. 100+, putting 100+ on the board, that always adds that pressure. And once you have runs on the board, you basically then are more confident. Then the Spartans bowling, they started well. They had Hitmen under control. First 10 overs just yielded 21 for the loss of 2 wickets. But then the middle overs, they left Hitmen off the hook. They lost, even though Spartans, were during the chase, they lost wickets at regular intervals. And I don't think they were really in the game. Hitmen, all the bowlers, if you see, all of them kind of shared the loot. Everybody had 2 wickets apiece. So there wasn't a standout bowler, but I think all of them kind of shared, the demolition which they caused for Hitmen. So I think Spartans are, I would give them a benefit of doubt here. I know they are a good side, but this might be a one-off day for them. So I still think Spartans have it them, but great work by Hitmen to come back and announce themselves back in Pool B.
Viju, I believe you're on mute.
Sorry. Avi, since we're running out of time, it's a terrible loss for the Spartans. They were blown out of the water by the Hitmen. It's a great win for Arun Shankar and the Hitmen. I think they really impressed everyone by having such a fabulous game. I see my friend Philip Thomas had figures of 3 overs and just gave up 9 runs and took 2 wickets. But Aman Mahipat, he was the man for Hitmen. And it was a wonderful team effort by the Hitmen. Hopefully one of these days we'll have Arun Shankar to do the team spotlight for his team. It looks like the Hitmen are extremely well managed. From whatever little I can glean from other people who have talked to me, Arun Shankar seems to be doing a fabulous job of managing the talent. They have limited talent, but where they make it up is with tremendous grit, with tremendous resolve and sheer good management. So a good shout out for Hitmen. Fantastic job. Keep up the good job.
Indeed. Unlucky there to miss out on a half century. And hopefully he will get that someday. Next one is probably it was an absolute humdinger of a game. UCA left heartbroken at the end, and I'm sure we'll have quite a bit of talk about this game.
Yeah, this was actually the game of the showcase game of the week. This turned out. I mean, I don't think anybody gave UCA a chance. I don't think even they themselves, if they were asked, they would have given them a chance. So at the end of it, I think Bota would have been like, few. That was really close. He would have breathed a sigh of relief. But if you look at from
bullets.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But for a neutral spectator, it must have been a great game to watch, an edge of the seat kind of a game, where you're biting nails to figure out like what's going to happen. Raptors, with 158, Aman, 158 was, at one stage they must have been looking already to the next game. But little did they know about this guy, Srinivas Alumalai, if I'm saying it right. He pretty much matched. Yeah, he pretty much matched Amar's innings. If you look at it, they are exactly mirror reflection of each other in terms of how they scored in number of balls and number of hits. And the game kind of seesawed. If you look at it, if you look at the chart and the games, UCA were cruising. They were basically at one point of time. I remember WhatsApping in our group, and I said, this is getting tighter, and this is going to be an upset. They were 128 for 2 in 19 overs. So at that stage, I'm pretty sure everyone would have given UCA the match. With 8 wickets in hand to score 30 odd runs in 6 overs, it's always going to be a batting game. But in one magic over, they lost 3 wickets, and that basically tripped them on their way to victory. Ashok, got 3 wickets in that one over, which completely swung the game back into the Raptors court. And with 2 overs left, again, there were 20 odd runs required. You'd fancied Raptors would defend that, but the UCA took it to the wire, literally to the last ball. And if you look at the batting side, if you look at Raptors, Amar, gave them a thunderous start. 68 of 41, 7 hits to the boundary. I call him the Bahubali of DCL. He resonates with me. His size, his stature, and his name, obviously, Armendra. So I call him the Bahubali. He really just stands and delivers. If I have to compare, he's almost like Maulik, but less athletic. He does he does cover a lot with just his hits. So in the end, I think even though
I guess who needs athleticism if you can smash 7 sixes, right?
But I mean, the UCA bowled well. I don't think they bowled badly. Mohammad Said got 5 wickets. They conceded only 4 extras, which is always a good sign. But they weren't able to stop the onslaught early on. And for Raptors, I think the bowling is a worry. I mean, Sai Manoj, Kiran, Amar, all going over 9 per over is going to give any bowlers nightmares, right. Especially Kiran. I mean, they rely on Kiran, and I still feel like Pradeep is not using him well. I know he can really bowl well with the new ball, and he has that unusual action, which it's almost like a snake. He has that banana swing kind of a ball which cuts so precisely, and especially with the new ball, with that zip, it can be really threatening. So I think he needs to bowl, I think, with the new ball. I definitely think he's wasted down when the ball becomes a little older. He doesn't have the pace, but he has that swing or that movement which can be very, very effective. So I would say Raptors got the win, but again dropped a very crucial point, and I think that's a trend which they have continued early on, and I hope that's not going to come and bite them. Losing 2 points where 5 points were expected is going to be definitely something which Raptors will come back and be upset about.
Avi, on this game, I have to say that, UCA almost pulled off the upset of the tournament.
Right.
Amarendra Nuwala had a fantastic and fabulous game, 68 of 41 balls, but equally matched, as Parthiv said, by Srinivas Elumalai, who had a fantastic and fabulous game. I mean, both of them absolutely matched shot for shot. This is what I was expecting from the Marcos players earlier when I picked UCA to win the first 2-3 games, and then I got burned, and then I stopped picking them up. But now they are playing like how I thought they would play. But I thought that Satya Kampala and Sheikh Mohammed almost pulled off a miracle, needing, I think, 11 runs or 10 runs in that last over.
Oh, really?
Kiran Boinapalli was the bowler who bowled the last over. He just gave 9 runs, and that ensured that basically that isn't it 9 runs? And the last ball, they needed a 4 to tie. And unfortunately, Satya Kampala could only get 3 runs off that last ball. But this was a fabulous game. But I think whatever you say about Kiran Boinapalli, I feel that Kiran Boinapalli is being used more with Pradeep Botta being the captain, whereas before he was being conveniently be dropped. So I do have a little bit of a difference of opinion. It's only a question of where he should be used. But again, when the money game and the money was on the line, he delivered. He did not give the winning runs away in that last over. So as long as you win the game, that's good enough. But yes, Raptors have a problem. Both games, they have given 137 runs to Troy Hawks and now 157 runs to UCA. So what's going to happen when they run into a GLCC or a Pokeries? You know, what's going to happen? So that's something which they'll have to think seriously about, because some of those teams are not going to, they're going to feast on that bowling if that bowling is not going to improve.
Absolutely. Well, in the interest of time, I think we can skip the next game. No, I'm just kidding. But this one...
By all means, let's skip up that game. I was told that Satish Gaba wanted to be on the show, and Yogesh Mittal must be eagerly waiting to hear what we have to say on this show. We are talking about the Glad's Pokeries game. All right,
Glad's Pokeries game.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. That's what I was saying.
Did we bypass the Blasters game?
No, that's still
that comes after. Yeah, that's the
coming.
last in the list.
That's last on the list. Okay, that's after. Okay, fine. All right, no problem.
Yep. Well, I guess the scorecard really tells the story. This was an embarrassing loss for the Pokeries, and a performance that the Glads have basically repeated from the last time these two sides met each other. This was just an absolute hiding by the Gladiators. That's how you can put it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was disappointed. It was a letdown. I was expecting either to be, equally, like I wasn't expecting 190, to be honest. I was expecting, 130-ish, 120-ish, and then whoever is chasing, comes close to that. But Glads basically, just took the game out with scoring 198. I'm pretty sure now Ravi Narala would have got some flashback mode when something like this happened in the debut year with Pokeries, when Glads tore Pokeries bowling attack and scored about 230 or 240 plus.
Actually, that one was 219, Parthiv.
219, I'm sorry.
219, yes, but they were out for 17, so it was a 202 win, margin of win. Oh, okay. So this is the second most lopsided game. I mean, I thought the last playoff game was a lopsided game, but this one was a bigger lopsided game, actually.
Yeah. And to be honest, I think, we've all been at the receiving end, so there's no harm, you just have to just move on and, take the next game because when you're facing a lineup which has Shan and Hardeep and Vaibhav, and considering that, Suyog and Satya didn't even bat, and Anup and Arjun didn't even play, these are just ominous signs for all the teams who are, going into the playoffs.
And that's the reason I picked Glads as the team to beat, because I don't know. I know there was some chat amongst us offline. I'd like the viewers to know that somebody had said that, the Glads are not strong in batting or bowling. That person has to be blind or just not ever heard of Gladiators, because I can't imagine why anybody would even say that. But it's...
Right. And And to be honest, I mean, I think my question was again relevant last time when I asked Ranjit about how are you going to stop the Sardar, how are you going to stop Hardeep, and this time too Pokris had no answer. He again was the thorn in the flesh. He along with Vaibhav and Shan, they basically took the game off. So, and I think I was talking about it offline. One of the things that baffles me with the Pokris bowling lineup is that you have Vignesh, you have Saran, you have Jayant, and even Ravi for that matter. All of them, none of them finished their quotas. They were definitely, your top 4 bowlers. I find it hard to see why Raghu, even though he was running at around 11 or more per over, he was still continued for 4 overs. I mean,
so since I was there, yes, as stupendous as Shan and Hardeep, especially his batting was, it was absolute bowling ineptness. Chiefly, culprit in chief is probably myself. And to answer your question about Raghu, his first 2 overs weren't all that bad, and I think that is why Ravi gave him the 3rd and the 4th over. But that's where Hardeep actually took him to the cleaners, and I would say what basically happened. And your point is well taken, wherein some of the better bowlers on the day didn't even finish their quota. I think what happened is typically what happens with the Pokiris. With the kind of onslaught that we were under. There really was, I think, a lapse in thought process.
And I've seen that happen. I think I myself have gone through, a couple of moments like that where, when the opposition is just so heavily all over you, you lose your mind, you lose your strategy, and you basically don't even think about how to kind of do things which are probably normal to you when it's a normal game. And for that matter, I think that's what I've seen smart captains do. Obviously you have MS Dhoni who brings on, people from nowhere and they basically get wickets for them. But I mean, DCL, I think the smartest captain I've seen so far is Samish. I think he makes those changes really quickly. He understands somebody having a bad day and he's quick to make changes. And that's why you rarely see a GLCC bowler who's been clobbered. Not that they don't have a bad day, but just that, if he's having a bad day, you will see him 1 over or maybe 2 overs. That's it. So I think making those changes quickly, I think is the key in this situation, is to realizing, who's not working or who's working for that matter. And, kind of continuing with that, because you might have a reputation going in, you might be great in the last 4 or 5 games bowling, but that's just not your day. So, you got to kind of just react to that. So,
and I can kind of empathize with poor Ravi on that day, though. Unfortunately, that's a couple of some of the bowlers that he usually depends upon and who usually deliver for him that day didn't unfortunately deliver. And you can't even put it down to bad fielding, because the fielders didn't even come into play when they don't even come into play when the ball's crossing the fences. So it's all in all, like I said, it was just an absolutely horrendous outing, and it was compounded by the fact that we've probably lost Ranjit for a few games now, because he tried going for a catch, which wasn't really a catch. It was falling just about outside the fence. So that's probably what gave him the hope. And he just looked up in the sky and kept running. And some of us fervently yelled out to him to watch out for the fence. But he just bodily crashed into the fence and ended up cutting his finger, twisting an ankle. He's in not the best of shape. So apart from the loss of the game, we have also lost one of our linchpins, so to speak, for probably the next few games. Knowing him, the guy has enough grit in him to probably somehow manually twist his ankle back and play the next game, clearly, which doesn't make any sense, and he shouldn't be doing that. But knowing Ranjit, he's quite capable of doing it. But I certainly hope he heals quickly soon. And but yeah, the Pokiris were pretty beleaguered on the field that day. It's but full credit to the Glad's powerhouse, the batting power, firepower. They fired on all cylinders, particularly Shan at the very outset of the games, setting the tone. And then, of course, Hardeep, we all know what he's capable, and he showed more than what he's capable of that day. I heard Satya tell me that he was kind of feeling upset that he didn't score as quickly as he would have liked to. So God help any team if he actually decides to score at a faster pace than what he did. So, but yeah, that's what I have to say from having been at the receiving end of in that match.
Right.
Avi, I do not know what to say on this. Yes, it was a one-sided game. If it's a one-sided game, I have to call it a one-sided game.
It is
but it is what it is. Having said that, this is where Ravi Narala, 2 weeks before this game happened, he walked up to Arjun Ajbani and asked Ajbani if Ajbani is going to be playing this game. And he got the answer that Arjun is not going to be playing this game. And then Ravi was quite happy because he said, oh, well, then Prasanna Venkatesh is not playing the game either. So those two guys cancel each other out. But what Ravi is missing the point is it's not Arjun Ajbani who has been killing pokeries the last few games around. It is Hardeep Singh who has been killing pokeries. And Parthiv astutely asked this question last week to Ranjit. How are you going to stop Hardeep Singh? And what plan do you have? Clearly, whatever plan they had did not work. It did not work last time around. It did not work this time around either. And so I have nicknamed Hardeep Singh. I've changed his name from Sardar Onka Sardar to the Pokeries Killer. That's the new, the Pokeries Killer. That's his real name because that's what it is. Now, coming back to the question as to why some of these bowlers were bowled, let's not blame Ravi all the way. Because sometimes, as you said, the brain does cramp up. But having said that, Raghu Palaniswamy, well, he earlier in one of these games, he had 5 overs, 2 maiden, 4 runs and 2 wickets. Right. Neil, I believe it was in the same game. He had figures of 3 overs, 1 maiden, 5 runs and 1 wicket. In another game, Avinash Raghu had figures of 4.1 overs, 2 maiden, 7 runs and 3 wickets. Now, come to this game. Raghu Palaniswamy, 4 overs, 47 runs, no wicket. Neil had 5 overs and he gave 23 runs. And Avi had, 2 overs and 33 runs. And these are not necessarily bad bowlers. I think the difference is who are you bowling to and when are you bowling? All right. So you have to understand if you're bowling in the death spell, that's when you're having Hardeep and Vaibhav going crazy, and then you have Muned going crazy. Your figures can just turn around and know. You go back and look at Raghu Palaniswamy's figures. His figures are pretty good throughout last season and this season and things like that. So I wouldn't chalk it up as a bad bowling. Ravi Narala generally has good figures. You will never see such bad figures from him. But this is one, and Ravi Narala always bowls 5 overs. This game, he bowled only 4 overs, all right? It might be, he himself probably doesn't want to bowl. Who wants to bowl when the batsman is going crazy? But having said that, you know what? I thought for them, Saran Raj batted really well. Amit batted really well. I was really impressed with the way Saran Raj batted in this game, and I thought it was a fantastic reply. But then this is the first time I'm seeing Saran Raj bat. I've never seen him bat before. So this is the first time I'm seeing him bat. And by the end of the game, here is what I have already deduced. Next time I see Saran Raj, we will have a different answer for Saran Raj. We would have something different because I can see that he is very comfortable doing certain things. And maybe there are some other things which I would like to try. And this is probably the difference between a good team and an average team. We already have zeroed in and said, okay, this is a guy who is a fabulous player, but what do we have to do to limit him? And this is probably what the Pokeries have to do because they have no answer for Hardeep Singh. I do not know why Ravi Narala is wasting his time finding out if Arjun Ajbani is playing when your bigger problem is Hardeep Singh. And yes, if Hardeep Singh was unhappy that he didn't score at a fast enough rate, guess what? In our Glad's group, I told that the 2 people who batted really well, where I could find, they put on a masterclass, was Shan and Vaibhav. They both, if anybody wants to see what batting should look like, go and watch how those 2 guys batted. There was nothing wasted. I mean, they were on top of the bowling. There was nothing. Their intent was very clear. They went about executing 90 to 95% of whatever they wanted to execute, but they batted like how a good batsman should bat. And I personally thought that Hardeep wasted a few balls. That's why I rate Hardeep's playoff innings, which was happened in 2018, much better innings than this one. I have seen Hardeep play fantastic innings, much superior innings to this one. This one was a very good innings, but have I seen better from Hardeep? And do I expect more from Hardeep? The answer is yes. To both of that, I've seen him play in a Tana final, one of the most unbelievable games which I have ever seen. And then same thing, the Pokris game. My goodness, in the semi-final, it was a fantastic game. But after the game, I was told that Hardeep Singh was giving advice to the Pokris on what they did wrong and what they should do right. And I was very unhappy hearing that, because why would you want? Hardeep was the one who came on the show last week and said, "Why, Viju, are you pumping everybody up and they want to come and beat the hell out of us?"
I'm not sure who he talked to.
I don't know.
I certainly wasn't there in any grouping where Hardeep was giving any advice. So,
okay. This is the information which came to me, was that Hardeep was giving advice, and I'm like, why is Hardeep giving advice to the opposition on how to get Hardeep out?
No, that's absolutely hearsay. I don't think that actually happened. Well, even if it did happen, you can talk all the theory you want, but if the bowlers don't go and execute that, it's like
Avi, if I have a weakness, I don't want to tell you what my weakness is, right?
Absolutely.
It's your job to find it out, right? Smartness, it's like what Hardeep said, I keep my friends close and I keep my enemies closer. I firmly believe in that. But here is the thing, if you're my opponent, I'm never telling you what my weakness is. If you figure it out, that's well and good. That's fine. Do you remember Boris Becker versus Andre Agassi? All right. I do not know. I think Parthiv is a tennis buff. He might know this. But Andre Agassi used to get the better of Boris Becker, and Boris Becker used to always wonder in the key points, advantage or advantage down or 40-40 deuce. And suddenly Boris Becker serves, and Agassi seems to know exactly where that ball is going. And boom, the return comes back. And Becker used to confide to his coaches, every time I serve, this guy seems to know in the important points exactly where I'm serving. How is this possible? It's as though he's sitting in my mind. Have you heard this, Parthiv?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay. So then, after they both retired, now look at Agassi. He never gave the information while they were playing. After they retired, one day, Boris Becker and Agassi met each other, and then Agassi said, "Let me tell you how I figured it out. When you want to serve to the left, you put your tongue out this way. The moment I see the tongue left, I know the serve is going left. If you put the tongue to the right, I know that serve is going to the right. But I don't want to reveal to you that I know your secret, so I never use it all the time. I use it only when it is a very important point. If you're 40 love up, I'm not using it. It's a deuce point, I'm using it. If you put your tongue out straight, that means that it's a body serve coming right at me. So I knew what it was. But he said it only after they retired. And so my point is that, that's what great competitors do. And honestly, I believe for the Pokris, they have a very good unit. They have some very talented players. I really like what I saw from Saran as well as Amit. I think that's good additions. Their bowling, I think, has fallen a little bit off from what it was 2-3 years ago. But again, Ranjit was not used, but then he probably was injured. But knowing him, he'll come back very next game. But I think it's more a little bit of strategy, which they have to think about rather than anything else. I think the talent is there. Coming back to this thing, look at this. Hariharan, who's sitting in Chennai, called Ravi Narala. And Hariharan says, Ravi Narala is not picking up my call. He is dodging my call. Now, between we all are good friends off the field. So I'm sure Hariharan was not calling Ravi Narala out of the blue to say, hey, Ravi, how are you? I'm sure he was calling him to troll him about this game. You get my point. But whatever it is, it was a good game for Glads, but it didn't live up to the expectation with regards to what the league might have been expecting with regard it to be a close game, but because it wasn't. But yeah, there was some good talent out there. And for those who want to see how to bat, go and watch Vaibhav bat, go and watch Shan bat, and you'll know exactly how an inning should be paced.
Absolutely. Well, I think we have a couple of games now left. Next up was what we derisively referred to as the bottom of the barrel scrape. Micah DHM versus AR Phantoms, two of Viju's favorite teams battling it out for glory at the bottom of the table. And looks like Micah DHM came out quite comfortably as on the top of the grime. It's
Yeah, it was. I think we all expected it to be much closer. It didn't live up to that. When
right.
two relatively similar strength teams collide. I think Micah got a couple of their leather ball players. I recognize Naveen Kumar played against him in one of the leather ball games. He came along. He along with Dinesh, I think, took the game away from Mike AR Phantoms, and with a score of 100 odd. I think AR Phantoms are still relatively new, so I wouldn't be too harsh on them. They're still learning the chops, but I think the bowling and batting is still below par as for DCL standards. And I'm hoping, they can find new recruits. They can learn take this learning lesson and keep improving. But they're definitely going to be the bottom of the barrel this season. So AR Phantoms, I would say, just basically pick up all the learnings you can this season. And for Micah, I think this might be a way for them to go forward. How do you balance DCL in terms of priority with their leather ball teams as well? Because I think without their leather ball players and some of their well-known players in the league, they're going to find it hard to win with which we've seen in the previous games.
Avi, the emperor of the basement has been practically crowned, though mathematically it's possible that the emperor of the basement can be somebody else. But for all intents and purposes, as far as practical considerations go, I think AR Phantoms is going to emerge as the emperor of the basement, and they are now officially royalty. I believe that the old jungle saying that the cold voice of the angry phantom can freeze a tiger's blood. But I think the DCL jungle saying says that Micah players were appealing, and that appeal froze the phantom's blood. Yikes, the phantom is dead like a dodo baby. I think the phantoms are dead. And I think look at the power of the media. Emperor of the basement game. None of these leather ball players ever used to come, but we talked it up and we said that this is going to be the emperor of the basement game, and whoever loses this is going to get that emperor of the basement title. And sure enough, Micah DHM goes and gets Naveen Kumar TJ. Yes, he was a former TCA Stallions player, so he is a good player. And sure enough, he came and made sure that Micah DHM avoids the ignominy of having the emperor of basement title tagged to them. So congrats, Micah. And Phantoms, I see that the bottom of the Marina Trench is probably the right place for you guys. Sorry, but you guys have to win if you have to get some respect from the rest of the league. And until you start winning, this is going to be the case every week.
Speaking of respect, KRCC coming to the next game, they have definitely earned my respect from this past weekend. Like I said, I am a fan of that side, and it particularly makes me feel good when, and no offense here, but especially teams that cobble together players from everywhere and strut out like stars onto the field and then get humbled by teams that have grown somewhat more holistically, I should say. So yeah, I guess a great win for the KRCC boys then.
Yeah, I think they've Yogesh and KRCC have taken that word, and they are counting on Viju's mustache to show up. So Viju, I think you should at least look around for some information on how to trim and how to get in shape, because KRCC is definitely looking good. They've already got past Blasters, which was going to be a game which could go either way. And they've not only,
it's going to be their first serious challenge, right? I mean,
right. They have a couple of other challenges. I think Brownstown will come across. I know Brownstown is down and out, but I think more or less it's looking like KRCC, if they maintain this form, they should be able to top the group pretty much with ease. Blasters, I think, as I think more of it, their roster looks great on paper. But they are, I think they are given weight due to past accolades. Players like Sham, Imti, Deepak, Giriyappa, Mahesh Mutiara were all great players, and they were headliners in the past. But sorry to say, but Blasters are definitely looking like Brownstown in the making. They're already starting with a lot which is already seasoned, already kind of towards their end of the careers. So they need other players to step up. I don't think just having Shan and Imti and Deepak and Mahesh is going to get them there. They need other players to really perform. And KRCC got welcomed Jasneet, and he immediately had an impact straight away. His contribution at the bottom was the reason why the score of 90 turned out to be 100 and 110 plus. And with their bowling, with Sahesh and Jasneet and Ronnie, I think it was always going to be a tough task to kind of chase 110. And the most underrated all-rounder, Satish, time and again, Satish Gaba has been performing with both bat and ball. I don't think he's talked about as much as we should be, but he's always been a key member in KRCC side. I think he's always been bowling his quota of overs, always picking up those 2 or 3 wickets, always a great contributor down the order. Not a big hitter, but he accumulates the runs. And, again, he is making a lot of difference in, KRCC. With we don't talk about him because you have the likes of Maulik and you have the likes of Ronnie and Jasneet, but he's definitely made his place very, 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 very important and secured. And Blasters, if you look at their batting lineup, the way they started, I mean, there was no way they could have come back. 4 ducks at the top, and you would have been excused if you blinked and you've seen like Mahesh, Imti, Arul, all and Sid even just wiped out in the first 3 overs. And with that, Blasters would not only just lost the plot, but they couldn't even get the bonus point, which they should have been able to at least get that out of it. And next game, I think, is going to decide whether, how good Blasters, if this was a one-off or Blasters can come back. They have legends knocking on their door. So we'll see whether Blasters and what they're built of, if they can come back, if they're a champion team, as we all think, and see how they pair up against legends.
Right.
Avi, I got a call from Maulik after the game, just a couple of days. But unlike Ravi Narala, I picked up the call, all right? So I did pick up the call and we did have a chat. And
I think let's cut Ravi some slack. Poor chap has already been let down by his team. So,
well, but the thing is that, yeah, I did get a call and I did talk about it. And I did say, why the hell did he have to play such a good game? Because actually Maulik had a very good game. And I thought it was a clinical finish by KRCC. At the 12-over mark, if I'm not mistaken, they were around 30. I was watching the score along with the Glads game. Every now and then I was switching around to see, how they were doing. But I could see that Maulik was still there. And I said, well, this can soon balloon up into a bigger score. And sure enough, they got 98 on the board. So Satya, can you run that trailer, please? Because this is the trailer which I used last week. So let's just get that trailer.
oh, God.
Where is the sound?
Where's the volume? Yeah. Chucky piecing and piecing.
Police coming! Police coming! We are going to get in jail. We are piecing and piecing and piecing and piecing.
I think that pretty good summed up.
All right. You know what? After the game, there was a huge drink celebration in Yogesh Mittal's basement. Yogesh Mittal was screaming, "We won, we won." Now the KRCC police are going to be coming. And that old Buddha, who's the old Buddha? That's me. All right. That old Buddha Viju will be going into KRCC jail. And he'll go into KRCC jail and he will be chucky piecing and pissing and pissing and pissing. And that's exactly what happened. There was a lot of chucky piecing happening in the KRCC jail. Now remember, I have told you that the Brownstown had a double-decker bus. Guess what? When I went to the KRCC jail, I found that they have 2 levels. All right? There is an upper deck and then there is a basement. All right, I'm going to get to that. In the top deck, in the penthouse, that's where I was. All right? And last time around, remember, I told you, Yogesh Mittal is the one who is doing all the chucky piecing. And on his right side was a lieutenant, which was Maulik Patel, who was doing all the pissing. And the chucky piecing was done by Yogesh Mittal. On the left side was Ronnie, who was giving instructions to Maulik to piss straight. All right? So now guess what? I am now doing the chucky piecing. But guess what, Avi? I am not there alone, baby. I am not there alone, baby. Yes, you are not there. Parthiv was not there, but there were some very good friends of mine there. Who do you think was there? Major General Hardeep Singh was there. He was there because he also picked blasters to win. So he was there and he was doing all the pissing and I was doing the chucky pissing. And guess who was on my left? Oh, on my left was Commander Satya Velayutham. He is also picked the blasters to win. So I had company. I was doing the chucky piecing, but Major General Hardeep Singh, Commander Satya Velayutham, they were on this thing. And guess what? There was one more guy there. Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Ranjit Palaniswamy, was there to oversee all of these things. All right? All these guys were sitting and directing me on how to do the chucky piecing. But they were all there in the penthouse of the KRCC jail. And guess what? Who is in the basement? So you'll ask me, Biju, who is in the basement? Who do you think is in the basement, Avi? Who do you think is in the basement? Please tell me, who do you think is in the basement? You have no idea? Man, you have no imagination. In the basement is the entire KRCC, sorry, the Blasters team. The Blasters team is in the basement, baby. There is Hari Parangusam, there is Deepak Giriyappa, there is all these other characters, Zishan Gori, Imtiaz Mohammad Babdul. They are all in the basement. At least we were in the penthouse. Those guys, they are going to be in that basement for 1 whole year. My goodness, if you look at that entire Blasters team, they started with 4 ducks. Guys like Mahesh Mutiala, Zishan Gori, Arun Karthikeyan, Imtiaz Mohammad Abdul, and then there is one more guy, Ketan Apte. They all came and laid golden eggs and went back. And all they were doing was they were hatching these duck eggs. That's what, how else does one explain? 6 ducks I see on the total. Naresh Arakat also was 0 not out. But anyway, 6 ducks I see. And these guys are doing nothing. They're just doing chucky piecing and piecing and piecing. Now, Parthiv, I'm going to drink this drink. What do you think this drink is? Please tell me, what do you think this drink is? You can see it. Can you see it?
Wait, I can't see you. Wait.
Here.
What is that?
What is the drink?
A bit too early in the morning for beer,
isn't
it?
Is it whiskey
What
or
is this
beer?
drink?
Is it whiskey or beer?
Whiskey or beer? My foot. It is
Apple juice?
P Cola. Now you understand what P stands for, right? It's P Cola, baby.
Oh,
I've been drinking this P Cola, baby. I've been drinking this P Cola, which the KRCC guys, which Yogesh Mittal sent specially from Detroit all the way to Chennai. He couriered this P Cola to me so that I can drink it left and right. I have only one hope. Satish Belamakunda, I know he's watching this show. My friend, you're my best friend. I need you to come and do the magic. This is my last hope. That legends are my last hope. I'm cheering for the legends. And I am hoping that the legends can come and save me out of this KRCC basement. Trust me, in that jail, there is no bed. I'm sleeping on the ground. I can't be sleeping on this ground for too long. I will not survive there. So Satish, please do whatever is necessary. But deliver me from this jail. But yes, they are dancing. KRCC is dancing on their head in that basement. But you know what? Great game from Maulik and Satish Gaba. What a fantastic game. Gaba is like Gabbar Singh, you know, Gaba and Gabbar, they all seem to be rhyming together. This Gaba guy really put a number on me. But they had fantastic game. Nalin had a fantastic game. Jasneet had a fantastic game. So congrats to the KRCC team. I think everybody knows that when I say things, it's in jest. We are trying to promote the show. We are trying to make it interesting. No hard feelings. So don't angry yourself and don't angry me. No, just like I can make some fun of you guys. I'm equally tough on myself and make fun of myself. It would have been easy for me to say that in the interest of time, let us skip this game. But nope.
Right. Great. I guess that brings us to an end of the analysis of the previous week games. And at this point of time, I think we'd like to welcome on board the show to discuss the showcase game of the week. We have Tejas from FCC. And having joined and dropped off a few times, I think we finally do have Sathwik from Trihawks as well. So welcome on the show, guys.
Hey, hi. Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Vijay is still in such a big, such fire already. Just joined and I could see him. I think
holding up a glass of whatever he called.
He's dropped actually. Did you guys drop him already?
He will join.
We gave him a break. Whoa.
There he is. He's back. He's back. So before we go on to the predictions for the next week, in which you guys can also participate, Tejas and Sathwik, we'd like to highlight some of the top shooters from the past weekend. And I don't think there was any contest over there. All of these guys were head and shoulders above the rest of the field this past weekend. Amar Novala, of course, from Team Raptors for his stupendous performance both with the bat. Srinivasan from UCA as well. And Satya, I'm kind of trying to understand what it is that you're trying to say there. 68-2-7, what does that mean?
Two fours and 7 sixes.
Okay.
2 4s and 7 6s. And
okay.
Elumalai had 6 6s.
Right. Yep. And Hardeep, of course, nothing to say there. I was an eyewitness to that massacre that he inflicted on us. Priyesh from SSK in the bowling. 5 overs with 2 maidens and 5 wickets for just 7. Priyesh has really upped his game and has been shining outside the spotlight, to be honest, for SSK, and I'm glad his name is shown up here. Manjinder as well from Punjab Warriors, another exciting prospect. He plays for the same team as me in Mishka this year, so I haven't seen him in action, but this definitely bodes well for his team, at least in DCL. 5 wickets there, 32 runs given away, but still the 5 wickets that were crucial in his bowling effort. And then, of course, Sheikh Mohammed from UCA, who I think also almost pulled off the win with the bat towards the end, but here being showcased for his bowling performance, taking 5 wickets for 35 runs and bowling a full spell as well. So some great performances as always. This league, considering its size and the amount of talent on offer, that's no surprise that we have some sharpshooters every week. Next up is the predictions for the next week's game. Again, a bunch of exciting games lined up. So we, of course, the 4 of us, the analysts on this show, we have a contest going on between ourselves, with the winner being sponsored by Green Sapling Eco-Friendly Dinnerware. But we also do have this tradition where we invite our guests on the show to participate in the predictions for that week. Unfortunately, you guys wouldn't be considered for the prize, but your opinion is still valued, and we do end up roasting you if you get your prediction wrong. So in the leader, if you scroll back up, Satya, sorry, just a minute. I think leaderboard, of course, is Parthiv. No doubts there. He's somehow pulling off those predictions that the 3 of us are getting wrong, including even the guest analysts. But the others are snapping at his heels, and hopefully we'll catch up sometime soon. So let's go on to predicting the games. So first up is Dynamites versus Raptors, and I believe I'll give this one to the Raptors. Dynamites might surprise us once again, and I'm sure Vijay Shanmugam is now pumping his fist and saying, yeah, I'll show you guys. but Raptors for me.
Yeah, I pick Raptors as well. I think Raptors are too strong for Dynamites. I think Dynamites will give them. I mean, it will be a good game, but I still think Raptors have the edge.
I pick Raptors too.
Avi, I think Dynamite's batting has looked a little suspect. They have been the lowest, but Raptors have been able to put up the big numbers. Can Dynamites put 140, 150? I'm finding that a little difficult to believe. So I'll go with the Raptors.
So, and now just for our guests, so I guess we can go, we'll have Sathwik and then Tejas. So Sathwik, who do you think?
Yeah, we had a game with Raptors. It went pretty close, and the last game with Raptors and UCA was also very close. So I think, like, with the experience, I think Raptors will pull this off. I'll go with Raptors.
All right, and Tejas.
I normally go with underdogs, but that being said, we lost against Dynamite. So, utter respect with that, I would just go with Dynamites for this game.
All right. Next up, we have Indus Thunders versus Patriots. I have a feeling Patriots look a little bit beleaguered of late, and I'm going to give this one to the Thunders.
Yeah, I think this is a no-brainer. I think Patriots, as I mentioned in my analysis, they're probably given too much respect. I think they still need to prove themselves. And with Thunders, I don't think they have a chance.
I go with Thunders.
Avi, I'll take Thunders on this one.
Of course. Right. Okay. And Sathwik?
Yeah, it's Thunders.
All right. And Tejas?
Always the other way. Patriots, maybe.
Yeah, you just want to show your solidarity with the Patriots?
No, actually, you know what? We have a game against Indus Thunders. I would like them to lose some momentum before we play them. So I would like to go against them.
Oh, fair enough. That's a valid enough reason.
It can backfire. They might come roaring back.
That's actually even better, so that we can give our best again.
SSK versus Thunderboltz. This I'm finding a bit difficult to decide, but I think I will lean on the side of the Southfield Super Kings.
Yes, I think, this is going to be a really close game. And if it wasn't the FCC game, Troy Hawks game, I think this would have been a second game of the week. So this is going to be close, but I think based on current performance, I think South Safaris definitely, SSK definitely have the edge, especially in the batting department. And Thunderboltz are a good bowling side. So it'll be a good contest, but I'll go with SSK Kings.
Okay.
That line makes...
It gives me some confidence that I pick the same team as you.
It's going to be a close game. I give to SSK.
All right.
Yeah, Avi, it's going to be a close game. I like the Thunderboltz. I like whatever I heard from them today, but still I'll have to go with SSK based on experience.
Wasn't much, but yeah. Great. Yeah. And Sathwik? Hang on. Back up. Sathwik, who do you think between?
Like I feel like SSK is like more experienced team and can pull this off. So I'll go with SSK.
All right, and Tejas?
And I think you guys, I don't know whether you remember or not, they were the finalists in the Fall Cup, Southfield Super Kings.
Oh, okay.
So they're not that kind of a team, but they're not consistent. That's the reason they've not got the spotlight yet. But if they're consistent enough, they will be in the playoffs, is what I feel. I think I'll go with Southfield Super Kings.
Oh, nice. 6-0, huh? 6-0 wow. Finally.
We end up calling the Thunderboltz and shine the spotlight on them and then rub it into them by predicting against them.
Rubbed it really hard.
Well, next up is Kings 11 versus Brownstown. And again, just the way, normally I would have just said Brownstown hands down, but just the way they've gone about, I'd be very surprised if they manage to overturn the string of results that unfortunate results that they've had. So I'm going to go with Kings 11.
Yeah, I'll go with Kings 11. We played them. They have a very young unit. some of the new players, especially I remember that pattern Nikhil. I think he's pretty exciting talent in DCL. And Brownstown, as we said, they're lacking. They completely have lost the plot, and I don't see them winning against Brownstown. I mean Kings level.
I go with not Brownstown, Kings 11, but Brownstown don't take any more runouts. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, all they need to do is affect 3 runouts, and they have this in the bag.
Avi, this Brownstown team has gone from a Formula 1 engine to a diesel engine to a charcoal engine, and now they don't have an engine at all right? So, and on top of that, they keep getting run out, so they don't have tires also. So I'm going to go with who's this? The Kings 11 guys.
All right. And Sathwik?
Yeah, like I'll go with you guys, like Kings 11. I know Brownstown is a very good team, but yeah, the results are not in their way. So yeah,
Right.
I think I'll go with Kings 11.
All right. And Tejas?
I always go with experience. With
Right.
I always go with that's where you have to hold your nerves. I think that this is the only game they can get back into the tournament, and I think that's better to take them next step forward. I think Brownstown.
Avi, please make a note. Next week, Satya, we are going to take a look at what the predictions were for Sathwik Reddy and for Tejas.
Are we playing
And
a
if
match?
And if Tejas has the worst record ever for a guest analyst, we are going to call him the worst analyst ever to have appeared on the show. All right, and we are going to give him that title next week. I'll come up with a proper title for that.
Yeah. So Viju, what happens is you always take a blow against someone, then it always backfires at you. And I still remember that you told me not to go to mid wicket. You remember I got all the catches in the mid wicket, and Ronak lost that place. So hope you have a good title for me, next week.
Yeah, I'll have a good title. You just win the worst analyst award, and I'll give you a title.
that's again a good one, from you.
All right. Next up, Satya, what do we have? Hitman versus FCC Agni, I believe. Yep. Hitman should be having some momentum from their previous game, but I would still give this one to the astute leadership of Ramesh Satyavaram, and I believe FCC Agni have the onus on this one, on winning.
Yeah, FCC Agni for me as well. Hitman has shown promise, but I think it's still too early to start getting on their side, on their bandwagon. Right. So I'll go with FCC Agni.
All right.
I'll go with FCC Agni just for experience before the team.
Yeah, I like what I see from the Hitman, but I'm still going with FCC Agni.
Okay. And Sathwik?
Yeah. I have umpired for the last game for Hitman. I feel Hitman is very, very good team. Like they have very good bowling lineup, and even the openers and batting is little bit okay, but then their bowling lineup is very disciplined. I feel this will be a very close match, but yeah, I'll give it to Agni because they are experienced.
All right.
Want to be a cheerleader for FCC, man. So obviously FCC Agni.
Oh, 6-0 for Agni.
Yeah. All right. Strikers versus Detroit Bulls. I'm going to go with my friend Parthiv's team here. I think Strikers definitely have it in the bag.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't even have to vote. I'm going to go with my team this one.
You go with Strikers. Hope Parthiv doesn't allow Detroit Bulls to trash the team.
I mean, I do not know about this definitely being in Strikers win column.
Agreed.
But I think this is going to be a close game. I think the Bulls are good, when they want to be good. So hopefully this will be a good game, but I still think Strikers have enough firepower to pull this out.
Yeah, I mean, just an insider information. We are getting a couple of players from the dead.
Oh, that's nice. Good.
Any reinforcements from RKCC as well?
Not from RKCC. People like, I'm sure you guys recognize when you see them, but they've been out of DCL for a while.
Okay.
Tushar Samant, is it?
No. He's
okay.
I wish he was back, but no, not him.
Where is Tushar, by the way?
He's in India. He's moved for good.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Sathwik?
Yeah, I'll go with the strikers. Yeah.
All right.
I just don't like the emblem of strikers, so maybe Bulls.
What's wrong with the emblem?
I can't even see where until you guys told it's strikers, I couldn't even know that was strikers there.
Man, Parthiv is supposed to be design engineer, chief designer, and all kinds of things. Indirectly, you're saying you're the horrible designer. That's what you're saying.
I can't see even striker there, so I was thinking, what team is it until now? Like,
no, somebody's come up with his logo and is stuck with us.
Right. Legends versus Spartans. I don't think there is much to discuss on this one. Legends for me, just the way they've been going.
Yeah, I think Legends are on a roll and they'll like continue to roll past Spartans.
I go with Legends too.
Avi, Satish Belamakonda and Legends are my best friends in that pool. All right, I am still now my entire mustache depends upon Belamakonda. All right, so I cannot go against Legends because until I'm hoping that they can preserve the honor of my mustache. So I'm going with Legends.
Right. Sathwik?
Yeah, I'll go with the Legends too.
All right.
a lot of friends in Legends, so I just want to cheer them to Legends.
Right. Sathwik, I see you don't have your camera turned on. Is that on purpose or?
No, like I just came from the practice. Like, okay, like I'm a bit like, okay. Like,
that's totally fine, man. None of us are going to show up on the cover of Vogue or whatever. The question.
Okay, I'll just
You'll be on YouTube though.
Okay. Yeah, going to go comb your hair, Sathwik? Oh, come on.
No,
Okay. Are we next?
All right. Next game is what? Canton 11 versus MI Rangers. Canton 11 are actually quite a good side, and MI Rangers have probably not been in the best of frame of minds, at least. But this one was way too close to call. But I think I will give this to MI Rangers.
Yeah, I give it to MI Rangers as well. I think they do rely on Abhilash a lot, but they still, I think, will have enough to get it past Canton 11. This is going to be a close game, and it will depend on who bats first.
Right.
It's going to be a close game, but I like to go with Canton 11.
All right. Great.
Oh, he went with Canton 11, is it? Okay. Because earlier he had picked Michigan MI Rangers, but yeah, I'll go with MI Rangers. Yeah. I'm going with MI Rangers on this one. It's going to be a close game, but I'm going to go with MI Rangers.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with MI Rangers.
Okay.
MI Rangers too.
All right. So let's see if Satya the Lone Wolf can actually pull off a win courtesy of Canton 11 this weekend. Next up is GLCC versus MCC Miles. No matter how good and hard hitting MCC Miles might be, I have a feeling this one is going to be all in favor of GLCC.
Yeah, I think this should be easy for GLCC to bag. I know MCC Miles is just starting with a win, but I think GLCC have a lot more firepower.
I like to go with GLCC too.
All right.
Same here, GLCC for me.
Okay.
Yeah, GLCC for me.
All right.
I just want is Michigan Cup GLCC team? I mean, so Miles team is the same as the DCL, or they're playing as a different people or something?
No clue.
Because they scored around 150, 160, I think, in some of the games in Michigan Cup. So it would be a close game, but I still go with GLCC. But I think it's going to be a really close game.
Okay. Next up, I believe, is Rising Stars versus Gladiators, and I don't think there's any contest here again. We'll just have to see how bad a hiding the Gladiators hand out to Rising Stars this week, I suppose.
Yeah,
No.
I think I'm just praying that Rising Stars don't lose the toss. Otherwise, they are going to be searching for the ball. They might have to keep a couple of players outside the boundary just to retrieve the ball.
Right.
I go with that.
Yeah, me too, Glads. Nothing
Obviously.
to think too much.
Yeah, Glads.
Tejas?
Yeah. It would be Rising Stars. Just to go against something,
Just to spite Viju.
Yeah. I mean, I don't worry about the points, just to, maybe sledge Viju right now.
Of course. Right. Last up, Punjab Warriors versus Pokiris. Pokiris do have a known problem of dealing with brawn power more than brain power. But we are still hoping that we can show up and acquit ourselves a lot better against the Punjab Warriors. So Pokiris, obviously, for me.
Yeah, I'll go with Pokiris as well. With the loss, I think they'll probably, come back stronger. And Punjab Warriors still, I mean, they're relatively new. So, the Pokiris should be able to get the better of them.
Right.
So it's going to be Neat and Raghu, how they are playing Lauder. So they should be able to stop the Punjab Warriors bowling. So I go with Pokiris.
Yeah, I think a good team always comes back with a strong performance after a bad outing. And I think Pokiris will do just that. So Pokiris for me.
Yeah, I think it's Pokiris.
Okay. Tejas?
Pokiris.
All right. That brings us to the last, but certainly not the least game, because we have voted it as the showcase game of this week. And the teams that are represented today on the show, Troy Hawks versus FCC. So certainly promises to be a good game. I am personally a fan of the Troy Hawks outfit. I have admired them from the time I faced them the first time. They are good, they are competitive, they are aggressive, they are in your face, but without being rude or obnoxious. So those are all qualities that I really admire. FCC, of course, are bolstered by the infusion of of new talent into their ranks. Yes, they had a major hiccup last weekend, which Pana almost rightly predicted to be as they were beginning their chase. But it's still going to be extremely interesting. And as much as I like Troy Hawks as a side and admire their players, I think FCC, especially with the kick in the back that they got last weekend, I think they will come back strongly. And I am bidding for them to win this game this weekend.
Yes, I think I vote for FCC as well. I know Troy Hawks are looking good this season. I'm sorry. I'll go with the other. I'm going to. I'll go. I'm sorry. I was going with Troy Hawks. I'm sorry.
Are you sure? Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I was going against my prediction. I don't know why, but yes,
it's okay. You're allowed to do that.
No, I was going to go with Troy Hawks. I was thinking myself, like, why am I saying FCC? Because I was thinking of for Troy Hawks. Troy Hawks. Sorry.
Your heart is with us. Maybe your brain is saying Troy.
I think yes, that's true. That I have some very good friends in the Falcons, in the former Falcons team. Sai and Venkat and Shrikant. I know them from a long time, so I definitely would vote for them. But I do feel Troy Hawks are looking really strong this season. The two games which they've played so far, all 100+ scores. So their batting definitely looks on the stronger side as compared to FCC. I think the batting, apart, you scored 30 out of 44 runs, 90% of the runs last game. So batting is looking a little dicey for FCC. That's the reason I go with Troy Hawks.
I just want to answer Prithvi here. I totally admire Troy Hawks because I've been seeing them. They're growing from past 2-3 years because I started playing here from that time. From probably both the two games, they were like 3-digit scores. But again, hopefully they don't score that many runs against us. But I think we also didn't allow many of the teams score more than 50, almost 50 runs. So that's also there. So hopefully we try to restrict them in a decent score at least.
It's a good contest for bat and ball.
Yeah, agree.
So as we predicted, is I like to go with FCC just because of both are having experience, but I think with Venkat, he should able to get Troy Hawks, though they have batting. I think FCC bowling they will get Troy Hawks on the top. I go with FCC.
Avi, when I look at both teams, I like to go with momentum, and I like what I'm seeing from Troy Hawks. Actually, coming into this game, I thought that the Troy Hawks has really improved a lot as a team over the last several years, and this year they're looking better than ever. And I would give, for that reason, I'm going to go with Troy Hawks because I like what I'm seeing from Troy Hawks. With FCC, I'm not happy with their batting. Yes, last game, Tejas had a good game and he'd rescued them. But how many times is that going to happen? I think when you look at Troy Hawks, they have multiple players who have been performing. And for that reason, I'm going to go with Troy Hawks. I feel where the edge is for FCC is in the captaincy. I think you can't put it past Venkat Vatnala. He'll come up with, he'll look at all options. But at the end of the day, the players have to perform. And I just feel that the players on Troy Hawks have been performing for a long time. So I'll go with Troy Hawks.
All right.
Rising stars, you want to rub salt on my own, huh?
He just finished his glass of Picola, so it's up to you.
Yes.
But floor is open, gentlemen. So we obviously know who these two guys are rooting for. Obviously, it's going to be their respective teams. So it's.
But yeah, questions? Like from my side, like we are looking forward for this game very much. Like FCC is a very good opponent. Like Srikanth Gauni or Venkat Varnala, experienced bowling lineup. Like yeah, it will be a very good matchup this Saturday, and yeah, I'm looking forward for that.
Everything fit and fine in your camp? You have your best 11 available to play?
Yeah, like the sad thing is like last time toppers like Venu, Shemshu, like both are very good bowling all-rounders. They are not there this season, but still we got some like backups for them. Like we got 2 more all-rounders. Yeah, like it's still a growing team. We are looking for young talent, and yeah, we are growing day by day. So
nice.
Hopefully, yeah.
Well, are you guys practicing in Troy? Because I might join those.
yeah. We mostly practice in Troy High School. Like it's there. Like yeah, mostly there.
Oh, so guys, I don't know how many knows that I moved to Troy. So I am right in front of Troy High School. I didn't know that you guys were practicing, or else I would have joined you guys.
Yeah, we had a biryani.
I really admire Troy Hawks for that reason. As I told before, like I've seen them, past 3-4 years, and they're organically built team. I've not seen any players being, gobbled by any other team or something like that. They play really with heart and spirit. And I would like to, respect them as well for that kind of effort, what they put in every game. And hopefully we'll have a good game there.
Yeah.
So, Viju or Parthiv, any questions for the panel?
I always let Parthiv ask the questions and then I follow up.
Oh my God!
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I had a question. So this question for Tejas, as I was talking about, right? You guys have the influx of Falcons experience coming into FCC. How has that changed the balance of the team?
Actually, that has improved. So I would say, like with the experience, we are not actually looking into the these league matches more. We are taking one game at a time, but at the same time, we are actually rooting in to find that proper composition before playoffs. So that's one thing we want to focus on. It's like a preparation it's like a long tournament. It's not like just a weekend tournament. We go in and we play. A lot of availability issues, a lot of players come in and go. So getting that composition right, and each player should know what role they are playing in the team. That's the reason I myself moved from 6 down to, some first down or second down whenever we want the team to be balanced. It all depends on what composition we need. And Venkat is the architect of it. So whenever we see the availability or unavailability of the players, he tries to match that kind of talent with the same talent who is going out. No matter, we don't have that, he's an FCC guy or he's a Falcons guy. I want to play this guy because he's Falcons. No, that never happens with him. And he's very professional with what he takes, the decision, what he takes. And he always has that, whenever he takes a decision, he always has that, down to earth kind of mentality where he calls me at least once and says, okay, this is what I think. Seeing from the outside after the match, if someone asks these questions, even if he is right, he still has the same question to himself and try to figure out the answers. So he's that kind of a person. I'm actually learning a lot from him, how to actually handle a team. And on the ground as well, he will never be perplexed or anything. He knows, okay, if something is going wrong, he knows when to do what. And he's always has a clear of thought in the mind. That actually is a great quality of a captain. So with that, him being as a pillar, I think we don't have that problem at all now.
Awesome.
So you're saying that you had the problem before?
Yes, I did.
What was the problem?
Basically, I was trying to make sure that, everyone gets a chance, not knowing. So basically, this is the thing which I learned from him. Having the players in the team and then defining a role, that's not going to happen. Having a role ready in the team and then finding the player for that role makes a lot of difference. So that vice versa thing is kind of a tricky one, which I learned from him.
So I'll come back to you, Tejas, but I wanted to give a shout out to both teams. You guys got the honor to be the showcase game of the week. We have a voting process. 3 votes went in favor of this game to be the showcase game of the week. I think both of you guys have been playing very good cricket in your own unique way. With regards to Troy Hawks, 2 years ago, would they have got a showcase game of the week? The answer is no. But let's give Santosh a real shout out. He is the real architect. And I remember Sathwik when ready from the name, because I think 2 or 3 years ago, I was doing a show for Jagan, and I was analyzing one of the games, and I know that Sathwik Raven Reddy came towards the end and he won the game for his team, and he had a phenomenal performance with the bat as well as with the ball. And I remember telling this guy Sathwik when Reddy came, I had never seen him before, or at least I don't remember seeing him, but I was like, he came and he delivered the product and he won them the game. So I was happy to see him today. And I wanted to say that this year, everything is coming together for them. Seems to be, every team which is playing them is getting a real run for the money. They have been playing lights out. They have really done a fantastic job. And I think the winner of this game, which is the winner between FCC versus Troy Hawks, the significance is that the winner of this game is going to be in the driver's seat to take that checkered flag with regards to the playoffs, because you're going to win one game up and you're going to go up one game and push the other team one game down. But Sathwik, my question to you today would be, what do you guys have to do in order to beat FCC in the showcase game of the week?
Yeah, I think like FCC is more experienced team depending upon their bowling lineup. Like they bundle out the teams for below 60 or around 60. Like we have a couple of young players who are like more aggressive, and like it just we have to play with the merit of the ball and try to pick the scoring board and get past that 100. That is the main thing. If we are batting first, if we are bowling first, like I think we have to break the partnerships. I think they have a lot of experienced players. So we shouldn't make them like get settled and try to get them below 70, around that 70 mark. That is what we are planning to do. Like we have like couple of players, like very crucial players in the middle order. So like we have like experienced players like Nataraj, Shashidhar, and like we have Kaushik. We have like other players too. Most of them are all rounders. So if they come good, like I think we're gonna win this match. Yeah, we are mainly depending upon few of our big stars to perform.
On a percentage basis, how confident are you're going to win this game?
Yeah, we are confident enough. Like if at all, like as I said, like we have some few good names who are in good nick this time. If they get a good partnership, and like we have a very good batting lineup and also backed by a very good bowling, I think we are confident enough to beat this team.
Good job. Congrats on all your performances so far in the season, and good luck in this game. I wanted to go to Tejas, and Tejas, from the first day I saw you, you were a fantastic batsman who is attacking batsman, the kind of batsman I like on my team. And I really enjoyed seeing many innings from you. Last week, you had a fantastic game. So congrats on that one. It was a match-winning effort. It was one of the, and also great temperament. So that's a great thing to see. But let me ask you this. You had the first game which you lost against Dynamites. That was a close game. It was unexpected. And then you almost lost the game against SSK. Sandwiched between these two was a lopsided game where you absolutely thrashed the living daylights out of Thunderboltz. My question to you is, you've seen past seasons. What's missing in FCC? Already Parthiv has said that the batting looks very suspect. But let me ask you this question. Internally, what do you think is missing in FCC?
Well, just to answer your first question, being sandwiched between the first and third match and the second one, right? Good. That second match, I was not even in the playing 11, and team was capable of scoring 123. And when we had the second match, we had players unavailability, and we had that composition right set, but we missed some of the players there. Now the missing thing is, maybe we need to enjoy more. That's it. Once we get the players, I don't think there is anything missing in the recipe. When you eat something, right, when you feel that, add some more love, which is emotion to the sambar. But again, you have every ingredient in that sambar. Maybe that love is missing. At the same way, I would say that the enjoyment which we need to have in the match, we are just missing that. And once we get, I think the last match, when we saw the players, when I was watching the players from inside out, I knew that our players were, sweating out. So once we won the match, they had that more than winning. Even after the match, I spoke to a few people. They're happy with me, but not with the team. Sometime what happens is, even after winning, you feel like losing. That kind of feeling everyone had, and they knew that they had done a blunder. Giving those chances to them for SSK. So I think everyone have learned that from the last match, and they don't want to give away things easily for anyone else in the future. I believe one thing, Viju, you always told that you always have that 10-15 minutes of, huddle. In that huddle, you almost talk about each and every player, give out, negatives and positives of the player right before the match. Maybe that was one thing I feel which is missing, which kind of gives them the match tempo before the match. And I think we need to have someone like you who can be a motivator kind of thing in the camp as well, because I see Venkat is a like a MS Dhoni cool person. I don't see anyone like Virat Kohli there who can shout, have people around, have energy around, because even Nishant, Teju, not myself at least. People like Shrikant, Sai, everyone are quiet people. So they do their work with the bat or the ball or the field. But we need someone who can, shout out show more, emotions on the ground, so that kind of brings everyone together.
Actually, you walked into my next question, which I was having for you, which was that, what does FCC have to do to get to the next level? And you already answered the question. I think the ingredients are there, but maybe the emotional level is not there yet, or where you're missing out on certain.
That we got from the last match after hitting the winning runs. The emotion came out of pouring from everyone. So hopefully the next match we'll have that.
Now, here is the next question, and this is a loaded question, all right? And I don't want a diplomatic answer. I want just the truthful answer. Okay, it wouldn't matter to me or to Venkat which way the answer is given. But I'm going to ask.
Is this going to be like coffee with Karan?
Well, when you come on the show, you know that the tough questions are probably coming from me.
Going to come in Detroit Free Press.
I don't believe in giving fluky tennis ball questions. You'll get the real tough questions. So
welcome to P-Cola with Viju.
Yeah, I mean, and when I take a beating, I drink the P-Cola too. So that's how it goes. But if we give it out, we should also be willing to take it. So that's otherwise, what's the fun in the whole thing?
Okay, but then I think this one would be a round where P-Cola with Viju would be like the last round, is it?
Yeah,
pretty much. At least this is my last question for the day. So here's my question, Tejas. Tejas, you have played with me. We have won a number of cups. We have had both in Reds as well as Tana Cup and I don't know, North American Tana Cup, Telugu Association Nata Cup or whatever it was. We have had, this is something which most people do not know, but Tejas came recommended to me to add to Glads, and I was ready to add Tejas to Glads. And then I found that Tejas plays for Vamsi. And now Vamsi was my good friend. So I said, man, I can't take Tejas if he's playing for Vamsi. So I basically then backed out of it. And I said, I can't do that. And I said, let's leave it at that. And that's how it ended up. But Tejas had the skill level to play for Glads. At least in some of the cups, I used to send him up the order. When I used to live the challenge, who wants to open the innings? He lifted his hand and said, I'm ready to open the innings. And so you remember those incidents. And now, obviously, I personally think that Venkat is one of the best captains in DCL. And when I've gone against him, it has always been a close game. So my question to you is this. What's the difference in the captaincy between Venkat and me? And who do you prefer? There you go. Who do you prefer?
Damn.
So this is the thing, right? Like I always miss playing with a few people. I played like Tana Cup. I think that's when I realized this guy is like a Hitler.
Go.
This guy always asked. I mean, I've seen people motivating another new player, but he always had that. I mean, when I say he, it's a Viju basically. He always had that negative thought, which starts off with saying that, okay, if you leave a cash there and you will never field in your life in the same spot. I was like, I am just a kid who came like 22 years old when I was playing for the first time in Michigan, and I met with this guy on the first match, and this guy says to me like, okay, if you are fielding there and you'll never field there if you leave a catch. I mean, that's so much pressure on me. I mean, if I'm a youngster, I would never play with you, Viju, but as I grow older, I can understand what you feel and what you were expecting out of players. Maybe it would be two of my sides, like a younger side would never play with you. Maybe now I would like to play with you. Because I grown mellow right now, and you have grown more and more aggressive. I would like to see something like that, at this age right now. I mean, and Venkat is kind of a person I would never say no to, and I always want to play with someone who gives heart and soul into the game. And the only difference I feel with you and Venkat is like, I just want to be very open and straight here. he has that caliber of bowling, or if you want so bad, we can ask him to do that. But when I started seeing you, you are already in the retirement stage. So I would never had that myself as even being a captain, I wouldn't be in the playing 11 or playing 12. So, but you were there in that playing 11 or playing 12 just to handle the team on the ground. I believe that there were enough players you could have, groomed as you were growing to that retirement stage. But I felt one of the finals you were playing, and you were not either batting, but you were still in the team just to handle the team. I feel that was one of the drawback you had in your career, where you should have groomed someone by the time you were about to leave the team. And Venkat is still that guy. I don't know whether he's growing older or younger. He is really a good bowler, and he never stops, getting into that zone of playing. It's like a meditation for him when he's bowling. I love him bowling, and it's good to have that kind of guy in the team. No, preference wise, as I told you, there is no diplomatic answer. If I was a younger than what I am right now, when I started, I would never play with you. And maybe right now, I would prefer you because I still feel that, that energy, I would like to see more energy on the field.
Okay, fair enough. With regards to your
answer, man, you didn't disappoint anyone. Great answer.
No, it was genuinely a good answer. I mean, you again, the best answers are the answers which come from the heart. So, but my own point would be that, yeah, if I was not there, probably the answer to that question would be there would be no team. The Glad's team was existing only because I was there. So with regards to this thing, it's like what Arjun Ajbani used to say, Viju, you pick yourself and 10 other guys. If you are not there, none of us would even be coming and playing for this team. So that's the flip side. So then what became my role became, I just need to get the best out of the 10. If 10 guys cannot win the game, then the 11th guy is not going to make any difference either. If 10 guys can't get a job done, and you are getting premium players, why are you even saying you're a player? So that was his answer to that. So pick 10, pick yourself. And then I used to drop myself for several key games. And he would say, if you're not playing, I'm not playing. Simple. So coming back to that answer question is, if you go and ask the Glads, they'll probably tell you that it wouldn't be the same Glads team without me being there. Same thing, whether it is a Nata Cup or whatever it is. We ended up winning the cup. That's the important thing. So I could get the maximum out of you or Pana or anybody else. I looked at it as that became my role. Could I have done it from outside? Probably I won't feel that motivated to do it from outside. That's my honest answer to that question.
Fair enough. I still feel that, I don't know why. This is one thing I always wanted to say on your face. I don't know why. Why it's always, you have seen some players very closely. I totally agree, respecting them than anyone else. I always feel that you oversee players whom from other teams or not respect the other team players as well, as much as you respect few of your, Glad players. I see that because it's your own team. That's the reason. But now it's the time to, get out of that zone and try to admire as Arjun, as Ronak. I've seen you scolding Ronak as well. That I'm not saying that you're not doing that, but again, I still feel that you oversee other players whom you should be like looking at. It's easier for you to say, okay, Arjun, okay, because the day one I met you, I think you called me and spoke about half an hour and maybe 45 minutes. You talked about only the players in Glads. I still feel that you should come out of that shell. I think you're still in that shell. So, I totally admire you with your patriotism with Glads. But again, it's the time. It's a high time you come out of that and give the credits to others too at the same time.
So here is the question, Tejas. If I have to motivate you,
maybe call me up before the match and I'll be really happy.
Call you,
call me before the match and motivate me as well. So that will really help us, be a better player as well.
No, you're talking about in this context of when we are on the same team. Is that the context?
Right now, I'm talking.
Oh, right now, if I have to do that, then I have to do it for all 32 teams. Avinash will be, the Pokeries guys will be saying, man, call us also. But already I have the Indus Thunders who
I was
basically...
I was just kidding. I was not literal, so don't take me literally. I was just kidding.
So, I mean, when you're asking a question, I have to give an honest answer, right?
No, that question was the first part. I still feel that you are overseeing few players whom you should, I think, cut some slack and give them maybe some motivation in a positive way. Rather, just to give an example, I've played with Satish Gaba and I've played with Maulik, and I've played with even with Satya and with including you. I've played with so many other players. I still feel they're really good players, but the temperament wise, I don't think everyone are the same. But I think giving them the positive motivation would really help growing the DCL better. That's what I felt, when I was actually watching the previous one, and having that show time, having that, giving that kind of positive energy would really grow the team better. And I think KRCC also had a good team, and we lost against them, which was a close match. I think that team which needs to be respected as well. We are taking that too seriously on this show. I think we should cut some slack and take that, maybe a positive way, and see that they will get better as well.
So, Tejas, again, I think the answer to that is everybody has an individual opinion. So, while I understand your opinion, again, the point here is that if I am not going to speak as I see it, then I rather not speak it. So, if I don't believe in that, if I have to say something, then I should call it as I see it. After all, that's why people used to come to read the EP poll or any of those things was, well, at least you got the honest truth. So if my point there being that if I can't tell the truth, and if everybody is great, then the value of great itself is gone.
Maybe not great, maybe nice would be better.
Okay, if everybody is nice, then who is bad?
But that's just not Viju's style as well, right? We had
I don't know. If everybody is nice, then who is bad?
You desperately tried getting that answer out of the Thunderboltz guy.
Show me a movie which will work where you don't have a villain, where everybody is the hero.
So
that movie will go into the dustbin of history. That's exactly what's going to happen. So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you have to call it as you see it. I mean, if you can't call it as you see it, then I don't think that talk show has any chance of surviving or succeeding or doing anything. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think. What am I supposed to say if the game in which you guys lost to Dynamites, that should I say that this or a game where
that's exactly what the point is. I was trying to talk about on the field, what exactly happened, we don't know. I think that's one thing we are also missing in this talk show. I wanted to bring up that point. See, let's say like if the stats speaks everything, and how the person is getting out, how the team is moving, what's exactly happening on the ground, we don't know that. I think having that understanding of the game, like let's say if there was a rain there or some bad thing or some good things happening on the ground, I think we should actually text, or in this team, whoever is handling this talk show might have to ask that at least like five lines of summary from the captains. It will give the good understanding what exactly happened on the ground. That will be really helpful. While just looking at the stats, I don't think I never go with stats. That's the reason I'm telling you guys. It's easier for people to, talk after the match is over or before the match is, you'll see the favorites because of the stats. And Viju, you never went with stats. I don't know why you're going with a lot of stats nowadays.
I never went with stats. How much stats am I relying on right now?
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like whenever you see when person is getting a duck out or not scoring runs, you're talking about him. How we got out is actually what we are looking at, right?
No, so if it's a duck out, it's a duck out. 5 duck outs. So you were saying that there are 5 duck outs. Is that the truth? If that is the truth, then we have to say that that's the truth.
Maybe
I mean, how are we supposed to color that? If you have 6 ducks on a game and we have picked that team to win, and you have 6 ducks, what should somebody call it? Should I call it something else other than a duck?
That's
no, I don't. No, that's escaping the situation. It's a duck. It's a duck. I'm sorry. I mean, if you didn't score, I mean, you didn't score. That's what it is.
I think what the point which is trying to make is it's more a comment on the performance and not so much on the personality. It's so you have to call it as you see it, right? But it's I guess, I mean, that's the point I'm trying to make. We are hitting the 3-hour mark today, so I have a feeling that we should be calling curtains on this show for tonight. I'd just like to thank both of you once again for joining us and for having this spirited discussion. That's what the show is all about. We really like the free exchange of views, and we encourage them on DCL Prime Time. So thank you very much for joining us. We really hope that you guys will give us a good game and it will live up to the showcase game of the week tag that we have accorded. And good luck to both of you.
All the best, Troy Hawks.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Evan.
All right. See you guys.
And of course, to my fellow panelists,
Bye.
thank you so much, as always. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good night. And thank you to the viewers. Bye-bye.